Folks, hello and welcome to the Iron Rations LiveStream. I am one of your hosts, Eric Tenkar. With me, the avatar screen right is Joe, the lawyer.
Hey guys, how you doing? You
So,
ready for snowpocalypse, Eric?
oh, I'm ready for listen. I, I have looked at so far, whether it's weather.com, the National Weather Service,
Uh-huh.
or AccuWeather. I think the ranges are 5 to 10, I think, was weather.com.
Yeah.
6 to 10 is
Mm-hmm.
the stretch for the National Weather Service, and 8 to 12 is what AccuWeather is saying. So I'm going to say we're going to get 8 to 10. Because
Yeah,
again,
and you're New York City. I'm Connecticut, which is for all you international people, just kind of above and to the right, northeast of New York City,
yeah,
right? So we're looking at the starting point. The most western part of the state is talking like 8 to 10. The middle is like 12 to 18, and the far side, Rhode Island, out the eastern side of Connecticut, we're talking like maybe 2 feet. So this is good. This is
yeah.
good.
No, they're talking Long Island, at the end of Long Island, the fork. That could look at about 18 to 24 inches. I think
Yeah.
Boston's looking at 2 feet or more.
Yeah, I saw a headline today that said some Boston might set the record for all time snow. Who the fuck knows? I think the Cape Cod and out there, they're gonna get screwed. They are completely buried. They're gonna be like an iceberg out there. Hmm. You there? Oh,
I'm here. I'm here. I'm just
Bloodworth simping.
for
What
TSR
the
over
fuck
Vince's
is this?
adventure.
We're
Seems to
already
be
starting with drama and controversy. What
well.
the hell is he
Here,
talking
I
about?
actually there's a little there's a little bit of news. We'll get the news out of the way
All
because
right.
somebody's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
pop into the stream and say, "Tenkor, did you hear the news?"
yeah, yeah. Let's hear
All
it,
right,
man.
I heard the news. So apparently, um, TSR has announced
Uh huh.
that Wizards of the Coast has canceled their suit against TSR in trademark and patent court. And then
Really?
they link a screenshot of the action,
Uh huh.
which says cancellation, and but then when you read it, it says it's a suspension. Now, why would you suspend it? Because if you read the paperwork, it's saying it's suspended pending the civil litigation that's going on in federal court in Washington State, filed by TSR against Wizards of the Coast, that tries to show ownership of the various trademarks. They want Wizards of the Coast to say, "I own this. Here's the paperwork to prove it."
Hmm.
The only thing, and since we've got a lawyer on the stream,
Oh,
if
barely.
you
You have a drunk and stoned lawyer on the stream. So
well,
with that being said,
right.
let's
That
see how
being
this
said,
goes.
at the moment, from what I can gather, every TSR trademark, not Star Frontiers, but the different TSR graphical trademarks, have been surrendered or canceled by new TSR. The only one that is still currently showing as current is TSR the Game Wizards, and that one has already been submitted for cancellation. So if you are in court trying to get somebody to prove ownership of stuff that you no longer have any claim on, I'm going to guess that court case is probably also going to fold up and go nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the reason why I bring that up, folks,
Huh.
is because in the announcement of the cancellation of the suit, again, that's how it was phrased. They say the fight is not over. We're still going to fight to have the legacy disclaimer removed or changed. So they're still, and then they link to the Indiegogo. So they're still looking to get money for people to give to the Indiegogo campaign. But it appears that there is no longer a legal action by Wizards of the Coast that they're defending themselves against. And it looks like their action against TSR is probably against Wizards of the Coast is probably going to fold up because I'm
Huh.
guessing there's no legal grounds for it if they don't have any claims to the trademarks and
Yeah. Yeah.
and there's no I don't think all right, I understand people don't like the disclaimer. I don't like the disclaimer. I understand it, and I know there's at least one personality out there that thinks that the reason why I don't like the disclaimer, but I don't like TSR, is because TSR beat me to the punch for this, I don't know, legal action. There's there's no way to force Wizards of the Coast to remove it. Maybe you can do a publicity campaign, but they don't give a shit. I mean, they're gonna leave that disclaimer. I don't have to like it. All right, I can
It's
dislike
not
it,
going anywhere.
and I can dislike it and still say, you know, I think it's stupid. I think it's wrong. However, I have no standing to have it removed. So,
Yeah.
and I don't think TSR has any more standing than any of us. But I wanted to get that out of the way because I'm sure somebody's going to pop in and go, because my PMs were going crazy when I woke up from my nap, and I was telling you this, dude, I have been napping like long-term COVID for me means
Really?
naps.
You got the long-term going on then, huh? You got the
brain fog is pretty much gone.
all right.
I'm more focused, but the long-term part of it is I sleep. Like today, I was up early. Today, I was up at 9:30. That's early. I only slept for 7.5 hours.
Jesus.
Then I had a nap for like 2 hours this afternoon.
That's why I'm not taking no chances, dude. I mean, I'm 51. I'm fat. I'm high blood pressure. I'm not fucking around. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything. I mean, this is Dan. He's your own. No judgment. I'm just saying this is just me. And so I don't want long-term symptoms. I don't want brain fog. I don't want fatigue. I don't want any issues. I mean, screw that shit, dude. I'm taking it safe. You know, I'm just being, for me, my life. I'm doing my thing. You know, do what all you guys want to do. You know, but shit on that, man.
I mean, you're going honestly. For me, COVID was about 5 days of a bad cold.
Mm-hmm.
It was over 3 weeks of brain fog.
Yeah.
And I'm going to describe brain fog as pretty much.
You had chemo brain fog already, right?
I already had chemo brain fog, and chemo brain fog is totally different in a way that chemo brain fog, you're doing something, and then you go, how did I get here? What did you forget the last 10 minutes that just happened.
Wow.
Chemo brain fog would like you'd lock your front door, you'd walk down the stairs and then forget that you locked the front door, and that nagging doubt makes you go back to relock the front door, at which point when the cops are driving by in the unmarked, they grab you because they think that you're checking doors for a burglary. Honest to God, it did happen to me. But hey,
that sounds like a little bit Alzheimer's-ish.
Yeah, well, it kind of. So the brain fog that I'm having or had with COVID is more of I'm always a half second behind what my brain and my actions aren't lining up. Or have you ever had that moment where like you feel like you're like a foot behind yourself?
Out of body kind of thing almost.
It's like that. So I was afraid to deal with OSR Christmas emails.
Yeah,
because I got to match people up. With, it's like, oh, I got to get somebody's mailing address and match it up to somebody else. And it's like I can't.
It's like an IQ reduction, basically.
Oh well,
sounds like
Yeah, it means that I could have been working at TSR.
Yeah, It sounds like me after a couple drinks, and I'm like going to the kitchen, and I'm like, what the fuck did I go to the kitchen for? What was I going to get out of the fridge? What? It sounds like that kind of thing.
And you know what? There's a similarity to it, but it was just like you're just a bit off, and it's frustrating, and it's like, well, I can just stare. I can stare at a YouTube video, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh, do I really want to get up? You'll get up and you'll go, geez, I got up for, I forget. Oh, yeah, that's right. I got to piss.
I got to pee. Yeah.
Really.
As it runs down your leg.
Yeah. It's like, there you go. That's it. So I wanted to get that out of the way. We got much more better.
Yeah. How's Rach doing, man, before we get
Rach
off that
is doing.
She's all right?
She had one symptom that she had that I did not have. She had some night sweats when she had those first couple of days.
Okay.
She didn't get much of the brain fog. The lethargy is not as bad as mine.
Yeah.
But she's still she'll nap because I nap.
Oh, there you go.
So
that's married life, dude. And in 10 years, you're going to do it not even because of COVID. You're going to do it because you're 60 something.
Yeah. So here's the thing: like I nap in my recliner. She goes back to the bedroom and naps with the doggy. So I mean, it's not like we're napping together. It's like no. It's like I want quality sleep. Separate sides of the house, please.
Yeah. So, that's funny.
Yeah. Now, because of Snowmageddon, I was
Snowmageddon.
Snowmageddon. I'm calling Snowmageddon. It's not going to be that in New York City, but it's going to be nasty because it's going to be windy.
It is.
And it's gonna be
That's the
dry
thing that's
snow.
going to fuck us up. The power lines and whatnot. I mean, we had this weird little goddamn windstorm where I live in this town and in Connecticut, and it was just out of nowhere. I was driving to the pizza place to pick up a meatball sub or something, right? And I get there, and all of a sudden I hear like a cyclone sound outside. I look out, and there's like leaves and everything blowing around. Like, what the fuck? And then I look on the town's like community page or whatever, or somebody sent me a picture of this thing. The wind was so powerful. It was like almost hurricane tornado force.
Right.
It blew somebody's like those trampolines in the yard that kids have.
Right.
It blew a whole trampoline up out of the yard and onto power lines. I'm like,
Oh,
holy
that's
shit!
an issue.
It's a slight issue.
Just a wee bit of a
A little
problem.
bit of a problem.
The trampoline, you're supposed to fly off the trampoline.
Oh,
The trampoline is
God.
not supposed to do the flying for you.
Yeah.
But,
Speaking of power outages, Matt Jackson is here. I see, and he's out of power today. He's got a fireplace going, and he's on his phone. It looks like because he something happened. He's got no power, transformer or some shit. So good to see you, Matt, or hear you, or see you typing
right,
at least.
maybe we'll get the rest of our rogues gallery.
That'd be funny.
This is
That'd
our
be funny.
current rogues gallery.
It's always good, man.
Yeah,
it's always good.
Yeah, my high school and college rogues gallery. We get together every June in memory of a friend we lost on 9/11.
Yeah.
From our gaming group, but we were trying to get together in December. That didn't happen. We were going to get together this weekend, Saturday, and then we had to cancel it yesterday because it's like,
oh, okay, yeah.
Nobody wants to get together, and you're going to get to one guy's house, then we're going to go out to dinner, and it's like driving around in this, even if it's only 6 inches, which if you're in New York, or 6 inches is like, oh, no problem. In wet snow, it's not a problem, but when it's dry snow, it's going to blow around a lot. It's going to cause a lot of whiteout conditions, and it's going to cause drifting.
Yep.
So you might get lucky. Maybe you'll go outside. I'll go outside tomorrow morning. My sidewalk will be clear. And my neighbors across the street will have 2 feet of snow.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's weird. No matter how to hit, it depends on how the wind hits your place. I mean, I'm on the second floor of an apartment complex, so the only thing I got to deal with is I got that fake green AstroTurf bullshit on my deck, and it's going to build up. So I brought my snow shovel in the house tonight, and tomorrow I will dig out to the deck, throw it over the side, and that's it. That's all I got to do. I got a 12-foot by 6-foot deck because I rent. I got the land, the whoever the hell the property management company comes in, they hire somebody to do all the bullshit. I'm good to go. That's the one thing. When I moved into this place after what happened, my old place where the landlord died, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to find a place where the landlord can never go into foreclosure, which is something that happened to him while I was there, and he can never die on me and fuck my shit up. So I found out an apartment complex. So here we are.
By the way, Matt has power back.
So nice. Good deal,
the
Matt.
Tennessee Valley Authority, if I got it right, I believe that's the TVA.
That's what it is. Yeah.
God bless him, because I'll tell you right now, if it was Con Ed up here in New York City,
fucking Con Ed.
Oh God, it's Con Ed because you're conned by it.
I always thought that was a connection because when I was a kid, I was born in '70, right? And so Ed Koch was the dude, right? Remember that? You remember Ed Koch was the mayor, right?
Koch was. Listen, I'll tell you right now. Even as a kid, I remember Koch was great because Koch was a chameleon.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh yeah.
A
lot of rumors he was gay, dude. You know that? Did you ever hear that?
Yeah, he was never married.
There was a ton of rumors that he was gay.
But Koch, he could be German for the Germans and black for the black, Hispanic for the Hispanics, and Jewish for the Jews, and Catholic for the Catholic. It didn't make a difference.
Yep.
And he was authentic in his chameleonness, I guess you could say. He was.
I liked his attitude. I liked his like, even as a kid, I liked this guy. But anyway, this Ed Koch thing, it goes into Con Ed Koch, because you remember the blackouts that happened in New York City in the 70s, right? With all the riots and the looting and all that shit. I've always connected that in my head because at the time I lived in Jersey. That's where you hear the accent. It's not a Connecticut accent that I have. So that's I remember Ed Koch when I was a little kid, man. This guy, he was balls and he spoke his mind. You got to appreciate a guy like that. Yeah, really do.
It's a rarity in
totally politics.
In politics,
forget
and
about it.
To be, I mean, he was generally liked. I mean,
I
say genuinely liked. Not everybody liked him.
Yeah.
But in general, he was liked, and he was competent.
Yeah, he did a good job. He got them out of bankruptcy, man.
Yeah, his problem wasn't that his office, the mayor's office, was not corrupt. The problem under his leadership is that the borough offices, the county
Yeah.
offices,
Oh yeah. The
were
borough
all corrupt.
commissioners or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, Donald Maness in
Hmm.
Queens, he was our like the county commissioner, borough president. He, God rest his soul, he wound up committing suicide, but he committed suicide because his scam was all the parking meters, half the money like from the parking meters,
Yeah.
the quarters, the dimes,
Yeah. Yeah.
were all going into his pocket. He was literally his office was cashing in change at like a local bank. Like
I did for some reason. This is because I'm a fucking D&D geek. When you said all the quarters and I was into his pocket, the very first thing that came to mind was that's a lot of coinage. What's the encumbrance? I got to ask Rob Conley what much that shit weighs.
You got to change that into gems, dude.
Yeah. You got to convert that shit, man. It's a lot of fucking weight.
I owe you. So yeah, that was. Listen, every big city has corruption.
Mm-hmm.
It's just usually how far up the top top it goes. And if it's at the very top, you're screwed.
Oh yeah. Okay. Forget
Okay.
about it. I mean, you know, town I used to live in, the guy is a known coke fiend. You know, there's no way around it, and he's getting money left and right. You know, so yeah. Speaking of Rob Connolly, though, he is going to. When I started this Bronze Age
Coke
game,
fiend / Rob Connolly.
No. Speaking of a total different tangent, Rob Connolly is not a coke fiend.
He's
not a coke fiend, boys and girls. I think
Okay.
he's a teetotaler. I don't think he drinks or smokes or does anything. He does nothing fun, Rob Connolly. But anyway, I think when I started the Bronze Age game, Rob has a job. He works in engineering deals with metals. He does computer stuff for them, machine tooling. Oh, I don't know other than that. And I'm probably messing that up, right? In any case, I said to Rob, I said, you know, it's a Bronze Age campaign. It's not based on Earth's Bronze Age. It's a Bronze Age is the main metal, right? So he came in and I said, well, we're going to have a bronze-based system, and then coppers, you know, or 100 coppers equals a bronze and whatever the fuck, right? So Rob, being Rob, amazingly comes up with, well, how big? Rob asked the question. Well, then if 100 coppers equals a bronze, how big is that bronze piece? And he figured it out. How big is the bronze piece? It turns out the bronze piece isn't a piece; it's more like an ingot or something like that,
okay.
right? Half or a quarter of an inch or something like that. And whatever it was, we had this long text conversation going on, and I'm like, I don't know. I was just gonna like go with I don't care. I figured it didn't matter how much.
Hand wave. It's a fantasy campaign. I'm gonna hand wave.
But this is the beauty of Rob Connolly. He's an amazing dude. I mean, he knows stuff. You know, this guy knows stuff. And he came up with the whole thing about, well, if this is the value, therefore, what you're going to have is each bronze piece is this big and this wide and this thick, and each copper piece is this big and this wide and has this. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, thank you, man. And I incorporated all that shit into the game because fuck, you know. So he's going to put up a post at some point. He was asking me the other day. So his blog is Bat in the Attic. Yes. .blogspot.com. You're going to go back. You look at that blog, you're going to find a ton of amazing shit going back like a million years. Rob's been blogging, I think, longer than both of us, dude.
Oh no, when I came into blogging, some of my initial blogs that I was like, oh my god, I was reading before I was blogging myself. I found the OSR. Rob, Bat in the Attic.
Yep.
JoetheLawyer's Wondrous Imaginings, Gothard's Manor.
Yep.
Chicago Wiz.
Yep.
James Miles. Ragnaria.
Yep.
Matt Jackson's, I don't know, MSG.
Wait, he had a blog? Matt Jackson got a blog? What the hell you say?
Matt Jackson had a blog. But, you know, he's too cool to admit it these days.
Well, the thing was, Matt was on WordPress, dude. You know, those WordPress people, right? You know, we were all blogger people. We were like the working class, blue collar. Those WordPress motherfuckers, they were a whole different breed.
They had a stick that kept them propped. But, yes, and Courtney, I found you later.
Yeah.
and here's the thing: there's a lot of great blogs from that time that just don't exist anymore.
But there's still, if you can find them, to go back to them, because I'm looking at Rob's now, because I was looking to see if he put up his thing yet. His oldest post goes back to 2008, October of 2008, which is a year before me, I think. Yeah. I mean, he's talking about the Bat in the Attic and where the name came from. So yeah, that's his thing. It's not up yet about the coins, but now that I've talked about it, he's probably going to feel pressured to put it up there, guys. So I don't know what he's going to do, but I sent him all the screenshots of our conversation from like over the summer or something. So it's going to be interesting. You get a glimpse into Rob's mind, which is interesting too, because he thinks differently, he's brilliant. You know, so it's awesome.
That's why our gaming group works out so well. We have brilliant. It's great to be in a group where you can truthfully say, I'm on the lower tier. This is
I know. I'm on the short bus.
it's like I'm going to learn a lot from these people. They don't know I'm here to learn. Dude. I'll just fake it till I make it.
Remember when I had that conversation with James Raji a few months ago that me and him just talked to private and face to face on like Skype or whatever the fuck we used, or Google Hangouts, I think we did. And we talked for like an hour and a half. And I said, dude, I'm getting ready to start this Bronze Age game, and I'm running it with Eric Tenkar, Tim Shorts, Greg Christopher, Rob Connolly. I'm like, I'm fucking intimidated. And he goes, Jesus, yeah. So it's like, Christ, man. So yeah, I feel like the fucking short buster, the guy with the little red building on the side for reading lessons guy,
well, here, then I'm gonna since we've been rotating games and everybody takes like a 4 to 8 week shift.
Yeah. Seems like
I'm gonna have to put myself into that mix. But I'm going to
do something. You're going to run a game finally?
I'm going to run something, and it's not going to be Swords and Wits 3.
Oh, get out of your comfort zone here, huh? What are you going to do, man?
I'm going to run RuneQuest.
Oh, what version? As I look on my shelf to see what I got.
Well, this is the starter set. So just as an FYI, I'm going to do an unboxing video probably this weekend.
All right.
This is $30 on.
Is that a new one? Is that the newer edition or something you're talking about?
Yeah, but it harkens back to like RuneQuest 2.
All right.
It really feels a lot like that. But I mean, this box is beautiful.
Nice.
But what I want to do is I want to run a sandbox. The damn box fell out. when I ran RuneQuest 2 with my college group, back in, I don't know, I was probably back in 85, 86. Yeah. I ran RuneQuest 2.
Oh, dude, that's what I got.
Yeah,
this is what I got right here.
Yep.
All right. That's the one game that I do have of RuneQuest, and I'm looking forward. I bought these games over COVID with the money I wasn't blowing in bars and on strippers' ass. I got a lot of games since over COVID, so this is one of them. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to it.
We're gonna run RuneQuest because that was by far the best sandbox I ever ran. We didn't know it was a sandbox. I ran Patterson Big Rubble, and it was spot on. It was amazing. River of Cradles. I still remember some of the scenarios that popped up, and it was all player driven. And I want to do something that's extremely player driven because with the group that we have, holy shit! Yeah. I'll be there for the ride and keep my foot on the gas and keep the car in motion from crashing.
Cool, man.
Now Shadzar has a question. Which I'm going to start with this. Joe, did you ever play 4E?
I looked at it. I see what I did was I went to the bookstore. I saw the 4E book. I looked at it. I liked it so much that I opened it and took a steaming pile of shit right in the middle of it. And then I put it back on the shelf. That's what I did. So I do not know what residuum is.
No, I don't know. Listen, I own the 4E books, and I even own the 4E mini books, whatever.
Oh, really?
4.5.
Can only the cord with your old ass eyes like me.
I'm saying I own them. I don't think I really did read them, but I was interested because this is back when Wizards of the Coast was working on the VTT.
Yeah.
You know, if you're down with VTT, then you know me. And you know, when you're stealing graphics for your VTT from like Fantasy Grounds.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, the video, the graphics for the dice roller was cribbed from Fantasy Grounds.
Oh my god!
The developer shows, hey, look, this is great. I'm like, oh yeah, that looks great.
That's awesome.
Did it? Somebody else. That's somebody else's graphics. So, I'm gonna have to do at some point my research, get all my not my eyes and my teeth, because the horrible thing about that is that the two main programmers were, I think they were common law, husband and wife.
Oh,
and
they divorced? Common law divorce?
No. They had a permanent divorce. He killed her.
Okay.
So
we got a Matt Jackson says, hold that back up, Eric. Your background thingy blurred it out.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I know it did. I was trying to get a right angle on it.
Yeah.
So here
hold it in front of your face. Maybe hold it in front of your face. It might.
I don't think it'll do.
No, that don't do it.
Here, RuneQuest starter set.
Do you know the year or when it came out or whatever?
It just came out. So go to the Chaosium site. I'm going to tell you why to go to the Chaosium. Unless you have a local store, It's part of Bit to Mortar. Don't order this from Amazon.
All right.
Order for this from Amazon. You won't have instant gratification. I actually ordered 2 other RuneQuest books tonight before doing this live stream.
Nice.
So here's the thing: if you go to the Chaosium site and you order this, it's $30. It's a solid ass book. You get everything you're gonna need, and you get all the PDFs right away.
Oh, all right.
So,
well, that's cool.
So for $30, you get instant gratification, and then the week it takes you to get the box, is not that huge a deal, right?
Yeah. Matt, you gonna join us? Are you interested, Matt? Because you've been ducking and dodging our fucking game here a lot lately, dude.
Well,
you gotta jump into
hey,
you fell off a ladder, but how long are you gonna use this ladder card,
listen,
motherfucker?
He's military. Listen, the military people that I dealt with in the NYPD were very good at when volunteers were asked for. They were the ones that, through their training, always took a step back. Like, look for volunteers. Oh, right there.
Yes.
So, but I'm looking for. I'm psyched. Doing the Giant Lands unboxing and then realizing the shite that I was looking at.
Yeah.
I'm going through the rules now, folks.
Yeah,
I'm going to be posting a multi-part review of that game. I'm going to be doing next Wednesday with Skeeter and Bad Mike. We're going to actually do session 0 Giant Lands, rolling up characters. I know people are very defensive of Giant Lands because Larry Elmore did the artwork and Jim Ward wrote it. That's great. It doesn't.
What's wrong with that? I mean, that's good shit. Elmore had the chainmail bikinis, man. How do you beat fucking Elmore? I mean, I know a lot of people are Errol Otis fans because he wrote that weird, like, I'm on acid and I just smoked like a fucking pound of weed kind of artwork. But I'm an Elmore guy because boobs and asses. I mean, I just know how do you compare? You
know? Shadow and Sun, RuneQuest has its own mythology, but it is, Joe would like this, it's very much based on like a Bronze Age type of deal. I mean, you're going to find it isn't your typical fantasy setting, but it's a lot of fun, and the actual setting evokes a lot of the gameplay itself. So I think we'll have a great time with that.
All right, cool, man. And I apologize, Eric. I got to step away for 1 minute because I started drinking too early and I broke the seal. I will be right back.
Go ahead.
I'm that guy. You know, I'm the guy who you break the seal, you're fucked every 25 fucking minutes. It's over.
Yeah, I believe me. I know that from the pub.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
Wine a lot. Shadzo, Eric uses the 4E mini books under his dinner table legs. True story. Oh God, I wish I could remember which book it was, but one of the Frog God books, one of the really thick, huge ones. Bill Webb was using the Pathfinder version to prop up a couch that apparently had a broken leg. So go figure that one out. Yes, these books can be used in multiple different ways. I'm trying to catch up here. Shadow and Sun. I never got to play RuneQuest, but really don't know much about it. I own hundreds of games, just not that one. You can get the RuneQuest Quick Start PDF, which I'll probably send my gaming group to at some point, for free on DriveThru. I'll probably maybe that'll be a post when I do the unboxing for this. You got a lot of stuff for free and a really good view of the system. The system is basic. It's a D100 system. If you've played a D100 system, that it's you can see the D&D influence because of the stats. The stats are generally rolled on 3d6 with some modifiers, but it's certainly a good game. Matt says he doesn't like the way Joe DMs.
I don't think I've ever DM'd Matt, have I?
I don't know.
I don't think have I ever DM'd you? I don't remember killing you. And I know if I've DM'd you, I tried to kill you. I don't remember killing you, so I don't think I've ever DM'd your game.
Yeah, you see, there you go. just keep on naming your character Snickle. That's
my revenge. That's my lifetime revenge. And when I write the novel that becomes the next Game of Thrones, and the main character is Snickle the gnome, I'm gonna laugh all the way to the bank.
Shadow and Sun, we're gonna have the George DeRosa, who I guess is the vice president or the executive over at the guy Emperor's Choice and the president of Emperor's Choice in February to announce some Arduino upcoming releases and things that are in the works, and talk Arduino in general. So I
All
think
right.
it'll be a lot of fun.
All right, that's cool. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
I got something for D&D related. I got a couple topics I found earlier in the week. All right. Now, you guys, we've talked about MeWe before. I know that. And we've got the MeWe D&D channel. It's like the biggest tabletop RPG channel on MeWe. Basically, I started it with like none. And here we are. Eric is a mod. Tim Shorts is a mod. And it's got a decent group of people, 6,000 people, and they have a nice chat. Nathan Baker had a topic. I think it was yesterday at 5:00, right? He had a question and a thing he wanted to talk about, and people are giving him advice because it's an issue. It's a DM issue. He says, I recently invited a friend who gets kicked out of all his D&D games for a reason I understand now that I'm DMing him.
Yeah, well,
here we go. It says, because he insists on outstudying and controlling everyone else, including my actions. He doesn't have a sense of anyone else when he plays. And honestly, I would kick him out of the group, but he's been a good friend. And I feel like kind of owe him due to our friendship and to give him a place to play, although he's totally overbearing. He's not breaking rules. He's just playing too well. I don't have the time or patience to try to alter the module enough just to deal with him. And that was the question. I think every fucking one of us who's been a DM has had that issue. If you play with some random people or even you play with some friends or relatives, it's an interesting question. It's a conundrum because it's like you once you cross the line of your friends or your relatives or whatever, and the other person you're dealing with is a dick. It's like, fuck, I'm stuck with this guy. How do I deal with this? So it's a good point, man. What do? You ever had this happen?
I think we've all had this happen, and I'll be honest with you. You as a DM, that's a hard fix for you to do because that is part of the social interaction between the players.
Especially if you're friends. What do you do?
So listen, when we back in the early days when we were doing our online group, you remember you were part of that group. When you got brought into the group because you weren't part of iteration 1.0, you were like 1.1.
Mm-hmm.
You were right after we had the D&D Next Playtest group, and we brought you in. I knew you would be a good fit, but it was still a trial time, right? And then we brought in others, and every time we brought somebody in, it was, listen, I'll bring you into the group, but consider it like a trial. No harm, no foul. If after 2 sessions, there's an issue, you're not going to be invited back. Don't take it personal. It's just that you're not fitting in with this group. We did that because it was important for us to keep that continuity. Nobody wants to play in a game where you have that annoyance of a controlling individual. And if you're going to be that kind of a player, I got news for you. You're probably better off as a DM.
Boom. I was just going to say, I've been that kind of player. This is why this thing has really struck home for me, because back in the AD&D days, and I was a 15-year-old snot-nosed, pimply fucking loser kid, I had no life. I was reading my goddamn DM guide, I was reading my player's handbook, I was trying to figure it out, and it was the tiny little bit I knew was dangerous, because I didn't know enough not to know what I didn't know, if that made any sense.
It makes sense. A little bit of knowledge is worse than no knowledge at all.
Exactly. So I'm sitting there trying to argue shit. The rules say. My brother knows, other players knows. I'm like, oh, man. So it was just, I was that guy for a while, a long time. My brother would say, I might still be that guy today. I don't know. But it is an issue because you're being a dick. Bottom line, there's no other way to summarize it. You're being a fucking dick. And you're fucking up other people's enjoyment of the game because you're min-maxing the shit out of not just yourself, but them too. And you're trying to beat the DM because it's a one-on-one fucking adversarial situation when it shouldn't be. It took me many years to get over that. So it's a hard question because here's we have Timothy Sticklepat. What the fuck? Jimothy Sticklepasty is the name of the person who first responded, one of the first responders to this thread. He says the first thing to do is to talk to him respectfully about the issue. Amen. Best advice I could think of to give him. Yeah, just talk.
But let's, you know what? That's often hard to do, right? I mean,
it is.
And again, like Joe, like you're saying, It's like being in like Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
I am that person, right?
Yeah.
We were discussing this before the show, and when I play in a campaign,
Yep.
I know some players, and when I was younger, I certainly was. I played in a campaign. I went there to that game session, and I'm playing. Excuse me. I'm playing my dwarven, fighter. I'm playing my paladin. I know exactly what I'm playing when I walk in. And now as
Yeah.
an adult, as a player in my 50s, having been involved in gaming now for 40 years,
Yeah.
and knowing my own weaknesses, when I come to a game session, like with
Mhm.
Rob's recent game,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, so Rob, all week was asking me, so what character are you playing? What character? What are you gonna play? What are you gonna play? And I was like, Rob, I'll decide when we get to the session.
Yeah.
And I got to the session, it's like, what do we need?
And it's always the cleric.
It's always clear. It's like, or I'm not, and why is that? I mean, when I played in
Heal bot.
James
Nobody
Shields,
wants to be a heal bot, dude. Nobody
well,
likes it, you know?
when I played in James Shields' Star Wars game at North Texas, again, let everybody else choose, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna play the fallen Jedi, the alcoholic.
Mhm.
Why am I pulling? Why am I doing that? Because I want characters that can be useful,
Yeah.
certainly.
Yeah.
But I don't want the character that's going to be the center.
Yeah.
Because I know my issues with being in the center. I will gladly take that role on if it's thrust upon me. And I don't want that because I want everybody I'm playing with to get a time to shine.
Yeah.
The amazing part about our current gaming group is that we don't have any and no offense to people, I say this, we don't have any weeping willows. We don't have any people
Oh, yeah.
that are going to get pushed back to the corner and lose their sense of importance to the group, their sense of urgency.
Get all pissy about it either. We don't have any of that. Yeah.
No, because we are, the fact that we're adults, we're all strong personalities. We're all, and like you were saying when you were talking with Raggy, you're dealing with people who are creative. I'll even put myself in that, but I'm probably the least creative of the group. But when you're dealing with that, as a DM, it's great and it's scary.
Yeah, that's intimidating.
It's intimidating as hell. It's like, oh, I gotta be really on top of my game. But you know what? When players are like that, they force themselves to all be on the top of the game, but also, pull back a bit. I mean, when we were playing in Tim Short's campaign, I would be consciously aware of is my character doing too much? Like, listen, when I did the Paterai and the voice,
dude, that was great though, man.
It was, but then I realized, like, oh my god, I don't want to be in this spot. It was funny, it was entertaining. Everybody got into it, thank God.
Yeah, I never laughed so hard. I don't remember laughing so hard as I was holding it in, trying to like piss my pants. It was fantastic, man.
So, but that became. I was happy I could do that, and at the same time step back from it.
Yeah,
there are people that will step into that. It's like, now I'm the focus. I don't want to be the focus. I want to be part of the team because the team is better for all of us having great roles. So I stole the limelight at that brief moment, and it was fucking hilarious. But I was very happy to step back and be like, all right, I'll be more reactive going on. But that one was just we had to do something. It's like, well, in for a penny, in for a fucking pound.
Yeah. Let's do it up. And those are the great moments. Now, this guy, Jimothy, said talk to him respectfully about the issue, but Nathan comes back with, I tried, he doesn't get it. And we've had histories of games like Magic the Gathering where he doesn't understand that I don't put forth exhaustive resources to completely stop my opponents like he does, and it stops being fun for me. He says, I wouldn't have added him to the game if he hadn't gone out of his way for things for me outside of the game. It's a real life crossover, right?
Yeah.
Because honestly, he makes competitive things with him not fun. He refuses to touch anything that he can't research and play without having odds stacked in his favor from the beginning. And what's silly is that I used to call his decks cheap shit, and he would get really offended. It's like a Magic the Gathering shit. So, and one guy came up with John Salve comes up with, you could try playing a simpler game. like a Rules Light retro clone. Boom,
Yeah.
there you go. Where it's much harder to min-max than role-playing is a bigger place. In older games, concepts like balance are not as embedded as in modern D&D. If your player wasn't in a game where he came across situations he couldn't win by flexing his stats, that's a great fucking phrase, flexing his stats, he might begin to play differently. Of course, the other way is to ask him to be the DM. I can't imagine being the fucking player of that guy's game, you know?
But you know what? You're going to come into it, and you're going to, if you play convention games, you're going to come into it more.
Yeah.
Honestly, because listen, and then we don't know the age of these people that are involved.
No, we don't.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think it's more of a problem with the younger players, because when you're younger, you do want to be a lot of times that focus. As you get older, you realize I want to be the one in the shadows.
Yeah, it's more fun.
Well, yeah, because and it's less responsibility. It's like, oh, I can relax. I've only, it's like, oh no, I got to be at 110% the whole fucking game. If I want to do that, I'll be the GM.
Yeah, yeah. That's probably why I started GMing more than I play.
Shadow and Son has a good question.
Yeah.
He said we're starting an online game. Any suggestions on how to facilitate Zoom meetings or something like that? I don't know. Listen, Zoom is a foreign world to me. I'm sure my wife can do Zoom. It can't be that hard.
I've used it. It's easy, but it's not as full featured, honestly, as Roll20 plus Discord.
Yes.
That's it. That's the key, I think, because Discord, you got audio. If you want video, you got video, and you have a chat section, and the chat stays, right? And then you got Roll20. Now, I say audio, Discord, and video, Discord, Roll20 for the game itself, because Roll20 is simple. It's not as complicated as some of the other ones. It's fully backed by all the main game systems. And you can minimize the little fucking tokens in the bottom. Some people do audio video with Roll20, but I think that takes up way too much of the space on the screen. Well, if you use Discord.
And we historically we had a problem that we could never sync the voice and the video.
Yes, that's always been a 10-year-old, decade-long problem. Yeah,
that is an issue. And since you're going to be having players in this case, Shadow, that are on both sides of the pond, Discord handles that well.
Yeah,
David can tell you that. He's in our Discord. He pops in pretty much every Thursday. Never have an issue with the video or the audio from that. If you're going to be the GM, my big advice: 2 screens.
Yes, absolutely.
Main screen as it is, and then on the side have another screen that's flipped vertically. That's where I always have my Discord. That's where, if I need to pull up a PDF, I can read it on that screen. You need that space. It is the best thing I ever did for running games online.
Amen.
Roll20. Listen, it is as complicated as you want to make it. There are bells and whistles there.
It's true.
They are great. Joe has played in my Roll20 games. Joe, do I use tokens?
No, you use not much.
Listen,
you don't really use much.
And honestly, I've told the story, but I'll go real quick over it. Back when Roll20 was getting really popular, they were trying to find social media people to show off their stuff. And they reached out to me. I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool.
You asked us if you wanted to do it. And we're like,
I was
we don't want to. They can't record audio, can they? That was our main concern.
Part of the issue, but I did reach out to them, and I said, listen, just so you know, I'm a minimalist.
Yeah.
I run a lot of stuff, theater of the mind, effectively. So what I use Roll20 for, I use Roll20 for the map. And then I put a fog of war over it. And as my players go through, I pull off the parts. So I hate mapping. I hate having to fix players' maps. I hate having to explain that shit and go, you don't understand what the fuck I'm saying? No. Fog of war, pull stuff off. Awesome. Pointer. Point on the fucking screen to tell me where you are.
Yes, draw lines where you're going to go. Yeah, it's all awesome shit.
And I can write on the screen. I can put lines out. But Joe himself will tell you, who's the worst person at moving tokens in any of our game sessions?
I bust his balls forever about this.
So
Eric is like, this
I
is the curse of multiple screens, Eric. I think that while we're playing, we got the Roll20 screen going on one thing and Discord going maybe part of it. You're doing something else, some other bullshit over there. And we've all moved 5 rooms ahead. And Eric's token's way back in fucking Ace Bumfuck.
I don't think tokens. Honestly, when we used to play face to face, if we had miniatures, at best it was to show a marching order.
Yeah, exactly.
So my mind is always theater of the mind. I'm picturing, so I'm not worried. It's like, oh, do I have line of sight? Oh, is this? I appreciate those that do it. I was pretty good in Rob's session. I was pretty.
You were keeping up.
I was keeping up. So, but usually I don't, because I am theater of the mind. So my mind is telling me what's going on, and I'm watching. The map on the screen is less important than the images in my head.
I get it.
20, they just basically told me to pound sand, but I told them I don't use any of their features.
The first time Rob said to you, because he was the first time Rob has DM'd you, I think, and
yes,
as far as I know, and so the first time he said to you, Eric, do you want to move there? Your guy, because Rob's very much you're in there, right? You're there. Where your token is where you're at. So you're gonna move your guy. I started laughing. I was like, Rob,
there's no idea.
It ain't gonna happen, man. Oh man,
yeah.
So I think the big thing, though, whoever asked that question, in terms of what to use and whatnot, I think Shadow and Sun. If you're using 5e, dude, because I'm kind of a weird in the OSR, is that I play a 5e campaign, and I played a lot of 5e, and Roll20 is amazing for 5e stuff because you have built in, if you buy the stuff that Wizards of the Coast put out, right, which I did for myself and for my brother for various birthdays and holiday events, we have all the monster manuals, the player's handbook, all the resources there. So when we drag a token over, we could open a character sheet. Next thing you know, the hill giant, all his stats are right there, and I click on a button, boom, and attack rolls. It's an amazing thing. So if you're rolling with some recent game or some game that's fully integrated into Roll20, which most OSR games aren't.
Look at the screen. I'll tell you exactly. Old school AD&D. Arduin mixed in.
So, fuck. You're fucked, dude.
No, you're not. You're gonna play it like me.
We
you're
did.
Play it with,
old school style.
Old school style. Upload a map, fog of war it, so then you reveal what the players need to see.
Yep.
Use it for dice rolling. Listen, Joe could tell you it took me, I think, 4 years before I started even using handouts.
Yeah.
And I think the first handout I put up, people were like, is it a handout?
Yeah.
It's on my screen. It's blocking the map. It's like, no. There's something.
They get rid of that.
It's like, what the hell? Tenkar's putting up a fucking. What the hell is this? Next thing you know, he's going to tell us we got to use tokens.
Yeah.
It's like, no, so token to me, I know.
If you could integrate a game system with it, though, it's amazing. Like, I wish, by the way, this goes into the Hyperborea thing. Astonishing Swordsman and Sorcerer's Hyperborea was what it was known from first edition and second edition, but the third edition is out. It just finished its Kickstarter. It's getting fulfilled. I got the third edition PDF, right? I got that.
I have to get my.
You haven't gotten it yet? Yeah, you got to download it.
I got to download. I haven't. I'm bad.
I don't think that Jeff has integrated his game with the various, Foundry or whatever the hell it's called, and Roll20 or whatever. I don't think he's done that yet. I wish he would, because it's the best fucking old school game that I'm not playing. It really is. He has done it the right way. He's integrated the way I would do it, with classes and races are integrated with the setting, and they're inseparable in a sense. You could use it as an old school game and separate everything out,
right?
But you're missing 2/3 of the value of the game, right? It's the best old school game I'm not playing on a regular basis, although I have played it and I think it's excellent at their second edition. And I actually have, I'm looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 second edition players handbooks there, and one full-blown Magnum fucking 45 caliber bullet stopper fucking handbook / DM guide / monster manual on the shelf. But yeah, it's out. Get it, guys, if you can. I don't know when the PDF is going to be out, but it used to be called Astonishing Swordsman and Sorcerers of Source Hyperborea, and now it's just called Hyperborea because thank fucking God.
It's like ASNSH or ASSH or Ash, and now it's
Ash. That was a good name. I like the Ash.
Yeah, I always used to hear Ash, but yeah, Hyperborea. It's the same thing with me when listen, COVID and the other issues have slowed down the digest size printing of Swords and Wizardry Continual Light, but I also
Yeah.
have to get James Shields to do a new logo because I want to change it to just Continual Light.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shortening is better, and Hyperborea is certainly an IP that you're going to remember, right? What are you playing?
Yeah.
I play Hyperborea, as opposed to I play Astonishing Swordsman and Swordsman.
It's a lot of words, dude. Especially when you're like in my state right now. I just slurred half of those fucking words. So yeah, it's a lot of words. Hyperborea is great. It stands out, you know. Yeah, you have to change the wording because of the Matt Finch thing. We were kind of yakking a little bit about on chat, right?
It's not necessarily because Matt gave me permission. Frog God and Matt both gave me the blessing to use Swords and Wizardry as part of the title.
Okay.
But now the Swords and Wizardry is not a Frog God.
Which was something I didn't know about. Did I miss a fucking podcast or where the fuck was I? I didn't hear about that.
Well, basically what it came down to is Matt wanted to listen, you're a lawyer, you work for the government, but at some point you probably had your own shingle out, right?
A little bit. Tiny bit. Yeah.
So Matt has been a partner in a company, produced for that company. But before that, he had basically his own shingle out. He had his own publishing company.
Was it Necromancer Games? Was that his gig?
No, Necromancer was Bill Webb before that. Mythmere Games.
Oh, okay. Mythmere Games. That's right.
Yeah, so
that's right.
Mythmere Games.
He was Mythmere everywhere and all those boards back in the fucking early 2000s. Yeah.
So basically, consider Mythmere to be resurrected or raised. It's not a reincarnation because it's the same company, but it's being brought back to life by Matt.
All right.
And he has Swords and Wizardry as that was always his baby. So I believe that the trademark was jointly owned by Frog God and Matt when Matt was part of the company. Don't quote me 100% sure on that, but Matt left the company. He's taken his trademark with him. Now, Swords and Wizardry is open content. You can take the Swords and Wizardry rules and rewrite them, represent them, make them your own. Other people have done that with white box rules. I mean, James Bond, that's how he did White Star.
Okay.
Probably the best rules to work off of, if you were going to, my humble opinion, is the Swords and Wizardry core rules.
Really? Not complete?
Not complete. Core, you can always add. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Add.
But core is so basic. There's so little.
But it's not as basic as White Box.
That's true.
And the core rules have an RTF file. I don't believe there's an RTF file available for the complete rules.
Okay.
So with the RTF file, you can go in and literally make changes for your home game, add in stuff, give it to your players, distribute it. You're good.
You know what's funny? I just, because I happen to have it in front of me in my hands right now, and I will let me see if I could show you this thing. It's the Swords and Wizardry Complete Rulebook, right? So I'm looking at this, right? And I open it up because we use this in Rob Connolly's base game. And what do I see in here? The character sheet of the character I played at the last fucking convention up in Massachusetts we went to before COVID hit us and beat the fuck out of us.
Oh, yeah, that was okay.
Total Con, right? So I see Core the Magic User. I pulled this out, right? And I remember playing Core the Magic User and dying in Matt Finch's game within like 5 fucking minutes because I didn't dodge the spider properly. And so I flipped this over because what I did mid-game, because Swords and Wizardry, it takes 5 seconds to roll a character. Right. I did mid-game, I rolled it. Core the Magic User is now Core the Fighter. So there he is. That's how fucking basic this goddamn game is, you know? You could do something like, there's my dice and my glasses because I'm fucking old.
Like I said, Swords and Wizardry are great rules. I said other places, when it comes to going from like 3rd edition to the OSR, I think the Rosetta Stone would be something like Castles of Crusades. Some people might say Basic Fantasy. They're both great games, but they allow you to take 3rd edition material and bring it to the OSR, and it kind of fits. But when it comes to the OSR, if you are writing for the OSR, my humble opinion is write for Swords and Wizardry, because you can use Swords and Wizardry products or stuff in any campaign,
Yeah.
whether it's AD&D, it's BX, it's Labyrinth Lord, Astonishing Swordsman, which has ascending and descending AC. Everything else is gonna, be spot on. It covers
Yeah.
better than
Yeah.
better than the other systems do. So maybe it's a personal preference. Maybe I'm a little prejudicial in favor of it, but I
Oh, I
just
mean, yeah. I mean, if you want to get really, really solidly core, I mean, BX and Old School Essentials is the core of so many OSR guys now that are doing it because it's the same thing. It's basic. There's not much to it, right? It's the
right.
most basic chassis that you could put anything on. So yeah, Old School Essentials is big, and it's a great fucking book. Great production values, great organization, great layout. It's if you're going for an AD&D clone, maybe Swords and Wizardry Complete or not Osric. Osric is too much, but
Yeah,
I would say it's too much.
Osric is not bad, but here's the issue with Osric. Osric was not written to be played with.
I know that's the difference. That's the biggest difference with that fucking game. It's a game that was written to be an old school reference. That's what
yeah,
Osric stands for. Old school reference. Blah 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 blah. Right? I don't. It's on the
yeah,
shelf somewhere. I can't.
indexed, compiled.
Yeah. Some weird, stupid fucking name. Sorry. Yeah, but it's a stupid fucking name.
Yeah.
But it's not meant to be used on the table. It's meant to be a reference that people could use to write modules that are Osric compatible, which because Osric is compatible with AD&D is AD&D compatible because Osric was the big ballsy badass fucking one of the first retro clones ever. I
Right.
think it's a competition between Osric and Basic Fantasy RPG as to which was the first ever retro clone.
I believe, and I could be wrong, I believe Osric was the first because Osric was the proof of concept that you could take the OGL and create a retro clone.
There was a guy on N World back then who I was talking to who was sort of he would write modules for Pathfinder and Paizo and this and that. And this is when Paizo was early, right? I mean, they just maybe had one adventure path or maybe two out, and he was writing stuff for him. And he says, dude, Osric has gotten so much attention by actual professional game developers because they're seeing the potential in this thing. If this is true, if this is a true thing, and remember, Osric was written, I don't know, maybe I think I heard Osric was actually written by Matt Finch and put out by Stuart Marshall in England because it would be harder for Wizards of the Coast to sue in England. Was that accurate, or was that making bullshit up here?
No, it's pretty much where it comes out. Is the two of them connected, and Matt is a lawyer by training.
Yeah, smart guy.
Matt read over the open game license, and he said, "I think we can do this."
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of a safe harbor by publishing it in the UK. So I believe I believe Stuart did have input in it. He might more as an editor, but yeah, the two of them put it together.
Yeah.
So it was Stuart Marshall and Matt Finch that compiled Osric, published it, and almost immediately they got the letter from Wizards of the Coast saying you can't do this.
Did they really? I didn't know that happened.
Yeah,
I did not know. Interesting.
Yeah, and my understanding.
And what did they say?
They ignored it.
Nice. Big fucking fuck you.
Yeah. And then the rest is history. So once Osric proved you could do it, then it became holy crap.
Yeah.
And remember, Osric was a free PDF.
Yeah, everywhere.
So, but once they putting out the printed version, and then they realized, much to their surprise, holy shit, people are playing with the Osric rules.
I mean, Osric actually figured out for the first time in the universe the initiative and common order of AD&D, because I mean, Gary Gygax, the way he wrote it, it made no fucking sense. I mean, it was complete and utter horseshit. So Osric kind of brought it all together and made it make sense. So that was one thing. But yeah, he put everything in one place for the first time, all the AD&D shit in one place.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I could publish this under Osric. I'm going to put something out. And Dragon's Foot ran with that bullshit, which is where Matt Finch got his, OD&D 74 plus Dragon's Foot, the old forums, where he lived essentially. So it makes sense, Yeah.
And Dragon's Foot was, listen, when I came into blogging, forums were hugely popular.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dragon's Foot, um, God, OD74.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember a few of the other ones.
Oh, Ian Ware was there, but I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
N World was. What can we expect with the upcoming third edition of
Yeah,
D&D?
yeah. All the bullshit.
You
I
know.
mean, I still have my bookmarks from way the fuck back, dude. So I got my boards. All right. So here's my list of boards. Because at one point I had scrapped every board there was. The
Okay.
RPG site is where I ended up because when I got booted off of N World because
Oh,
Mars was a
you got to land
douche.
somewhere.
I got to land somewhere, right? Then there was the N World, of course. There was Paizo.com. Tabletop Role Playing Open and RPGNet Forums was a jumping point. But that's the Big Purple. They're a bunch of assholes, too.
Yeah.
Dragon's Foot, Knights and Knaves Ale House. Remember that?
Oh, Knights and Knaves. I do remember that very well.
Yeah. Original D&D discussion, which was ODD 74. Swords and Wizardry forums. They had their own forum there. The RPG Haven. Pen and Paper Games. Gary Con had one. Cannon Fire had something. Story Games for Everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. The Delver's Dungeon had a good one. The Asaeum, ACAEUM forums.
Yeah, that's where you kind of go to look up the value of your old.
Yes, yeah. We had Candlekeep. The Candlekeep forums was all Forgotten Realms. New York Redbox. Oh my God, that was Tavis fucking.
Oh my dude,
that was his. He had a great one going for a while there. Yeah. The Piazza, we had that.
Yeah.
The 3.5 Private Sanctuary, the Gaming Den, Goblinoid Games, had Lamentations of the Flame Princess, Brave Halfling Publishing, the Gaming Den, Trollord. Here's Falcon. There was the convention in Connecticut that lasted like 2 years and then it went away.
Oh wow.
Falcon, like FAL-con, right? Then I had the Dragonlance Forums and Connecticut Gamers Association. That's every forum that I got under my boards category.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all the old school ones, man. Yeah. Interesting. Jesus Christ. They were a big thing. And then blogs took off and then the USR launched into there and then it went into Google Plus and that was that,
Yeah.
And that was
now, one of the...
Oh, Jesus, sorry.
Well, and listen, we could do a whole episode on discussing why Google Plus's success and ultimate dispelling the shutting down. That was a huge reason why blogs took a hit.
They did.
It wasn't just because podcasts are getting big. No. Blogs took a hit because Google Plus decided that the best way, they were the biggest blogging platform.
Yeah.
We're going to integrate
Google Plus, Google blogspot whatever the fuck.com, right? Remember? Because we all had that address. It was mine was wondrousimaginings.blogspot.com. Yeah, that was the big thing.
But Blogger was, again, like, people with WordPress, but if you wanted a free blog, that was easy.
Matt was WordPress, so that gives you an idea what WordPress is all about. The fact that Matt Jackson was there, I mean, you gotta know everything you need to know with that.
You need a stick to prop him up. But
it never gets old, does it, dude?
No,
this busted Matt's balls. It never really gets old.
Here's the thing. Google said, "Wow, we have this whole blog network. What if we integrate Google Plus with the blogs and have people comment on the blogs, but have to be part of Google Plus?"
Yeah.
And I did that for literally a half day before I said, "Oh, this isn't going to work," because I had people that wanted to comment that weren't Google subscribers and didn't have Google accounts, and that doesn't help me. Some people, like Zach Smith, embraced it.
Yeah,
was what they could do. What Google allowed you to do was that they allowed you to do circles and only allow people in your circles to comment. So he was allowed to have this a very active comment section on his blog posts, but only the people that he allowed in. And it didn't feel comfortable for me. So then when Google said, "Oh, we're killing Google Plus because we didn't happen to kill Facebook with it," which was our goal. We're going to take our ball. What happened was all these blogs that were using Google Plus, I don't know how I don't. They lost their comments on all those posts.
Well, I had to turn off comments because once there was a certain point where Google gave the fuck up and they stopped updating whatever spam blocker program they had running in the background. And so I had to turn off comments. Now the comments were the best part of Google Blogger, because I'd make a post, you'd comment, 19 other people would comment, and then some other person would write a post related to my post, and then 15 other people would comment, and then maybe one of them would write a post, and it was just viral networking of posts and comments which spawns on the posts and the whole bit. It was amazing. But once you got to Google Plus and the posts and the comments were filtered, it got that nobody ever commented on the blogger, and they all went to Google Plus, and so it became a shit show. And yeah, it became factions and problems. I hated it. It was a pain in the ass. So, but what we're doing now is everybody seemed to move wherever. I mean, and now a lot of people are going to YouTube. There's a lot more. I've been talking forever. I know, guys, about making my channel, and I'm making progress because
it's imminent.
It's imminent. Here's the deal. We were trying to figure out a name after our game a couple of weeks ago, and we were all brainstorming a name for the thing. And somebody came up with Analog, and it was going to be Analog Imaginarium, which I think sounded too fucking highfalutin for me.
Highfalutin.
So today I was in the room here, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, you know what? Analog got to stay. What else goes with Analog? And so Analog Man Cave. All right. So it's going to be Joe the Lawyer's Analog Man Cave. If you go to youtube.com/JoetheLawyer, that's the thing. There's no post yet. There's no video yet, but I recorded something tonight. I got to figure out how to fucking add graphics and pictures and all the other bullshit to the videos. And, that's where I go to my 16-year-old nephew who can do that shit in his sleep. Right. So, stop by his place tomorrow in the middle of snowpocalypse and then, figure out what the hell's going on. Or else I'll cut them off from all Christmas and birthday presents. So,
see, Joe's going to have a quality channel. He could be like, I can go through, when we were growing up, if you got the generic stuff, it was a white box with black labeling, and you save 7 cents by getting the generic soup.
Yeah.
This is the public access generic soup of the OSR right here. So sorry, folks. At some point I'll do bells and whistles, but then I'll probably,
you do what you got to. I mean, you got 1,000 fucking shows out there. You're doing fine, man. But for me, I'm starting off. I recorded like a 4-minute introductory thing. I got to add pictures and maybe some videos or whatever to it. I got to figure out how to do that. Maybe that's this weekend. That's Snowpocalypse Weekend's project, right?
There you go.
I'm getting there. But what I did was I figured Analog Man Cave. So Joe the Lawyer's Analog Man Cave. I created an email address. I now own the domain site, analogmancave.com. I am Analog Man Cave on Twitter, Instagram, all that shit. So Analog Man Cave is going to be the thing. And the YouTube channel is Joe the Lawyer, YouTube channel. So eventually you will see a goddamn thing up there. It's just a matter of time. It's coming, though. It's coming.
Shadzar's busting your balls right now.
Who's that? I give it up on your channel, convince a new person with a new idea. Yeah. It's coming, dude. It's just, as old people you think about when you get older and you get constipated, things take a little longer. You get the bigger prostate, things take a little longer. Same thing with YouTube. It's all related. Things take a little longer.
Listen, my YouTube evolution was backwards because I was doing podcasts and then uploading the audio to YouTube.
Yeah.
And I would get like 7 views.
Yeah.
And then I went, you know what? Is there a way I can just do this reverse now? And I'm going to apologize.
That was my idea. If you remember, that was my idea. I said, just record on YouTube. You can have the video and then download it to audio. You're good to go.
But now the problem is, like with my experience with COVID, now I'm like a month behind on uploading anything to the podcast side.
Oh, you're okay. So you're saying
I got to upgrade. Got to catch up. Maybe Snowpocalypse Weekend, when I'm recovering from shoveling all that snow. Oh, geez.
Yeah, fuck that shit. I don't shovel. I brought my snow shovel. I live on a second floor in an apartment, literally an apartment complex, right? And I got a patio. My deck, it's like 12 by 6 feet, a few chairs or whatever out there, and it's full of holes so that everything rain and snow falls through. I'm the genius who puts that green AstroTurf bullshit across 12 by 6 feet, puts some decks and chairs. So essentially what that means is I got to get out there when it snows and shovel my way out. So
Joe, what you should just do is just roll it up. when snow's coming.
It would be easier, but there's so much shit on there. I have to bring it inside or put it down into the basement. So essentially, what I got is that I brought my snow shovel inside to get ready for this shit. You know?
All right, all right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I would just be like, all right, I got to take these 2 chairs and table, move them to the left side as I roll from the right, and then pull them back over, and then
It's
we'll
the
go.
lazy way. It's the slow, lazy way.
Yes.
Is Joe talking about his patio? I think he's going to say Matt is jealous because I got a cool patio. Although Matt has a pool, so I can't.
Whoa. So Matt, why aren't you in your? Oh, that's right. It's Tennessee. I'm learning that Tennessee is much like New York City when it comes to weather.
Yeah,
I didn't think that. I thought Tennessee is a southern state. It must have southern weather.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned from my son who was in Nashville until he slipped on ice at the airport and injured his back and is now recouping in Florida at his grandmother's place doing physical
Who is this?
therapy.
Your son?
Yeah, he hurt his back.
Oh, I didn't know that, dude. He's a young kid too. He's in his 20s.
Yeah, 28.
That's wow. 28.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because apparently, Nashville's airport isn't. They don't deal with ice very well. It's kind of like let it build up, and he slipped and fell on the ice, landed on his back. Initially, they were afraid that he might have cracked something, one of the vertebrae. All it was muscle issues, basically sore back, bruised muscles.
All right,
nothing cracked. The initial X-ray showed like a possible crack, but the MRI cleared it up. But they put him out 6 weeks for physical therapy.
That's good. Get better. He's young. He can recover. I mean,
he's
shit.
28.
You're not.
Yeah, he's in Florida recovering.
Yeah. So that's not bad.
Yeah, no, it's like, gee, and you're eating on your grandmother's dime. Now, that's not a bad deal either. So
recovering on the beach in the middle of the winter for Florida, that's not a bad deal at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, just to jump back to the other thing, things are definitely moving to YouTube. I think, man. You moved in here. I got something in the percolating works here. I mean, it's going to happen eventually. It's just a matter of time. But there's so much stuff on YouTube right now. There was a thing I found, right? I don't know if you guys subscribe to this thing. It's called the DM Lair, right?
No.
98,200 subscribers ish, 345 videos, right? Now, here's one thing. I can only find this on my phone because on the phone you look at home, videos, playlists, community, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, there's a new thing where if you put questions without videos or surveys, you get more ranking on YouTube's algorithm, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of people are doing this. But this guy, the DM Lair, right?
Right.
I don't know what the fuck his name is. He put a question out there that has a ton of responses. The question was excellent because, I mean, we started with the question of a problem player. And I don't know how far we got, but I mean, the bottom line is be nice, don't be a dick. Try to get him to be less of a dick and move forward. That's it. But the DM Lair put out a question 11 hours ago. What are the top ways you've seen dungeon masters ruin their game? All right. So if you go to the DM Lair and you go to community, you'll see this thing, right? So there's a lot of good. First of all, it's a great, brilliant question because all the DMs blame their players. Oh, he's a dick, he's a douche, whatever the hell. But a lot of DMs are assholes and they fuck their games up. I fucked my game up many, many times in the past. It's a learning process of being a DM, especially when you have no other contacts with the filter like we had when as kids in the 80s and 90s. There was no fucking internet. We'd have no models. If we didn't make conventions, you kind of figured it out on your own because you never saw anybody else play. Right. So it's a good question because there's still, we think of ourselves as old bastards, but every day there's a new 13-year-old pimply faced nerd picking up a DM's guy for the first time to run a game. Right. And they have issues and they have questions and they're looking for answers. And what do you do? And if one of those guys is watching this, there's a lot of stuff here that I think is good for you because how to avoid pitfalls, how to avoid issues, how to avoid being a douchebag DM that nobody wants to play with again. As of right now, 68 comments.
Okay.
And so we got one of the comments here is, let's see, the first one, a guy named Ray is saying that basically he says the DM was a first-time DM. It plotted out a huge open world for us to explore, put a lot of pressure on themselves when it came to planning, and would get frustrated when things inevitably did not go to plan. It's a huge problem all DMs have, I think, is
world building is
without railroading, right? I mean, that's the thing. You're building a world, you're building a history of that world, but you don't want to railroad the player characters into a minor subplot of the history of that world. You want to let them go to town and explore an adventure and not be railroaded into a certain historical outcome you've already predetermined. That's the key.
So Matt says like letting too many players into the game.
Yeah.
That is an issue, but I'm going to say that issue depends on the environment. If I'm running a game that's online, 5 to 6 players is my hard max.
Yeah, I agree.
Honestly,
I agree.
If I'm running a convention game where I don't have to worry about campaign continuity, I can run 10, maybe 12, 8 easily because
3 or 4 hour one shot.
It's a different look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, you can certainly do that with too many players in a campaign, too many moving parts, and when you're running a game online, keeping the focus. Joe's seen me run games at conventions, and what do? I walk around. I stand up.
You are. You're standing the entire time, 3 hours. Yep.
Because why do I stand? There's multiple reasons for it. One is that it gives me a seat that I can give to somebody else to play. So my table of 8 can now be 9, which has gotten people complaining. Not at my table, but at other tables.
Yeah.
But the other reason is if I'm standing, I get your focus. You can look at me. I can project my voice. I'm not behind a game master screen. When I can't project that voice, when I can't get your attention like that behind this computer screen, I need a smaller group because I need to be able to focus. And that's why having certain things like video helps. It helps you get people's attention. They more eye contact. Even this way, actually works. Believe it or not. Shadow and Sun, Killer DMs. Yes, Killer DMs. Campaigns.
Yeah.
Killer DMs are the ones that they play to win, and they win by killing the PCs. But by the same token, you have the other extreme, the Care Bear DM that never wants to actually put their PCs into any kind of a compromising position because that might ruin my campaign. Well, then you just start anew. Joe mentioned railroads. Railroads are certainly an issue, but how do you do a sandbox campaign and be ready for the next session without a railroad? I've always felt that, and I don't always do it, and I don't think everybody else always does it, but when a session wraps up, what are your plans for next week? Ask the group.
That's the key, especially with a campaign. I mean, you can run a sandbox. Like I try to really, really run a sandbox with my brother, right? And we're doing a 5e game, and one guy we were playing with another guy, a couple other guys, but one left, another one just recently left because he had a lot of family, personal stuff going on. So it's back to me and my brother. And I brought something up a little bit and then one little line of a thing I sent him, and he says, "Oh, well, I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing." I'm like, "Well, fuck. That just fucked up 4 weeks." So, so I'm like, well, then if you're going to do this, I'd like, well, what I texted him. I said, "What do you want to do regards to XYZ?" And he told me. I'm like, all right, now I could plan a week ahead what you're going to do because you just completely diverted me.
And it's not a railroad.
No,
we're pausing, right? The session. This is a pause, and this is what we plan on doing. You can a DM can over plan. You can get too much stuff going on and it never gets used, and then you get frustrated.
Exactly. That's another problem with a DM is like, I wrote this, you will adventure with this, I will play it, I will railroad that bullshit. So I wrote this goddamn map, I drove all these monsters, no matter what route you take, left, right, straight, center,
you're
up,
gonna be
down, you're gonna be there, motherfucker. That's another problem. Don't do that.
Something that ruined games when I was younger, and this only happened when I played up in the Poconos. We only had a group of 3 or 4 regular players.
Yeah.
DM PCs.
Oh, yes, I did that. I did that before. As a DM, I did that. And it's not good. It's not good.
Oh, well, look at that. The Holy Avenger is there for my DM PC Paladin.
Yeah.
Waka doodles. No, don't fucking do it, man. You're better off having your players run 2 PCs than have a DM PC.
I agree, and that's something I did because all DMs want to be a player character, especially in the early days, right? When we were, that's when I did that shit.
Yeah.
And so there's no way to avoid bending your. You're a kid too. I mean, you're
Yeah,
15,
those
you're
are
16,
teen, yeah.
17, whatever. But there's no excuse for some of the bullshit I pulled.
Yeah, no,
You don't want to do it. It's a conflict of interest. You just don't want to do it.
I mean, listen, a good henchman in the party, which is under party control, but you can still role play, is just as good as a DM.
Yeah.
Tenkar was originally a DM. It was a player's henchman that became the party henchman. The party wound up paying the henchman total.
Yep.
They knew the character. They could role play the character.
Yep.
But I could throw some extras in. Oh, he's not going to do that without some extra money. And then it became like, oh, that's a good name for me to use for my EverQuest paladin. And just went from there.
Yeah. And plus, it also turns into a way for a DM to railroad. You know what I mean? If you're playing a worst example, if you're playing a paladin as a DM, right? You are appointing yourself the moral fucking conscience of the group. And what the paladin does or doesn't do controls the group. And it's an NPC, but it's a PC, but it's a DM's PC, but so not a real PC. So what the fuck, right? Then you got to find a way around it. But there's always DM characters who, if you cross that line, you can control the group. And that's not good for a DM. You want to railroad them. You want to do fun.
You don't want to be like Elminster or Fizz
yeah.
Character was from Dragonlance.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are DM PCs.
That's all it is. That's all. Like Kelvin, all those fucking.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Party's going in the wrong direction. Let me get you moving in the right direction. Yep. Oh, the party's gonna get killed. I'm gonna pull off my super duper power and save the party because you can't die now. You can die later, but you can't die now.
It's ridiculous, dude. Here's one other one that they were talking about, right? Which let me pull it up here real quick. DM bias, favoritism. Planning a campaign with a DM of 4 other friends, finally agreed on a schedule that would work, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, the DM girlfriend gets involved. Or the girl he was interested in gets involved.
Yep.
That is a shit show, which I would let you start while I take a leak again. I'll be right back.
No. Bizarrely enough, when I was playing in, we actually called it the Games That Will Not Be Told or something like that. It was back it was a game group that I think Tavis was involved with. It was once a week in the evening in downtown Manhattan. Actually, it was fairly close to where I worked. And we would game. And one of the DMs, who was pretty cool otherwise, got it into his mind that he liked this one girl. And she was attractive. She was younger than the old folks probably should have been looking at. And she certainly knew she was getting the attention, and she got to get into favoritism. We were doing some D&D Next play test, and she became the center of the party because the DM gave all the decisions to her, and she never got attacked, or she did get attacked. She never got hit. You saw it, and it ruined the gameplay for everybody else. And at the same time, I don't know if she was getting the same enjoyment out of the gameplay.
You're talking about enjoyment out of gameplay. Hope you're talking about D&D, not other things.
No. Self-insert author narcissism.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is part of the issue there too.
I fucked up a game as a DM because of the topic when I took a leak about girlfriend. It wasn't a girlfriend situation. It was just a chick I wanted to bang the fuck out of her.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Fuck me up. Blew the whole campaign, the whole game. It bent over backwards for her. It's the curse of a nice ass and red hair. Anyway.
My gaming horror story when I was 19, 20. My girlfriend at the time, I don't think she liked the fact that we gamed every Sunday.
Yeah.
So
because she religious, it was like church day or something.
No, I wish she'd be out with her. So she would come over. I was running the games, and she would come over and like stand behind me or sit next to me during the game sessions. And needless to say, that only lasted like 2 or 3 sessions before my players pulled me aside and said, "Dude, you got to get rid of this fucking cunt." Oh, I just demonetized us. I just demonetized us. But they really said that like she can't be here. We can't game this way. And you know what? They were right. But when you're thinking with other body parts, you're just like,
He goes out the fucking window. Yeah,
So,
it's done. Thank God. Thank God.
I'm gonna
50 now because you don't.
preempt that. I'm gonna just go in and demonetize this video right now.
Is that a thing? But what did we say that would fuck us up?
That I just said it. The C word.
Oh, that kills you?
Oh God. I even got demonetized for describing a baseball term that rhymed with that word. And I said a word that rhymed with this. I described the baseball term.
Yeah.
And then that
like
video
a
got
bunch.
demonetized. I went, oh, wow, look at that. That's a great algorithm. So I'm just gonna save it.
With Rachel and your Saturday Night Gamers Help podcasts or shows,
She never
dropped that C word?
Never dropped the C word. I thought she would say the word that rhymes with twit. Because you witnessed it, I'm sure. And
that's fantastic.
No. She hasn't dropped either word. So I mean, God bless. But I just happen. But listen, that just tells you. That's how. And they were right. My gaming group was 100% right. Cannot fault anybody for that. But I can fault me for saying the word. I just should have. I could have left the blank there, let everybody fill it in, but jeez.
Yeah. But there's more. There is more DM fuck ups, right? All right. Had a DM that would not listen to player feedback and had a DM versus player mentality. He didn't like me using control spells and counter spells, so he gave all CR5 and above monsters legendary resistance. All spellcasters had crazy items, and they used to use all their spell casting, so it couldn't be countered, and all loot disappeared with the monster when killed. Lots of other issues. Didn't stay in that group long. Yeah, no shit, man. Get the fuck out. That's just funny and incompetent all at the same time. Here's something that goes funny. Refuse to let the players even attempt an action other than initiating combat and force them into combat in each and every single encounter. Yep, this ruined the game real quick. Yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, some campaigns it depends on the players and DMs, but some campaigns are based in combat. Some campaigns are based on role playing, some exploration, some combination of all. But if you got a DM that only is comfortable with one style of game, you're fucked.
Right.
Because if you want to do something different, it ain't going to roll. I mean, he's going to do this kind of bullshit. If he only knows combat, it's like the mechanic with one hammer. That's the only tool he owns. He's going to try to use that hammer for every single project that comes up. That's it.
That reminds me of street mechanics in the late 90s in the South Bronx, where they would fix people's cars with 3 tools.
Uh-huh.
A flat screwdriver, a hammer, and an adjustable wrench.
All right.
And they would buy 163 in Boston Road. They would buy whatever part they thought would fix it, have the car around the corner, and I'd be on my post, the foot post, as a rookie. And I hear bang, 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 bang. And it's like somebody with a hammer and a screwdriver pounding away in somebody's engine. And honest God, 9 times out of 10, they got this shit working. Yeah. I don't know if it worked long term.
I'll tell you, but I had a shitty ass piece of crap Honda Accord. I bought it used. It was like the third generation used, right? So I'm driving this piece of shit. And at one point, it wouldn't start in the morning. Shocker, right? It's like 14 years old. Goddamn thing wouldn't start in the morning. It was a rust bucket. And so I texted a buddy to do a little bit of that cars. He goes, you got to find the carburetor, where the fuck is a starter, and hit it with a hammer. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck it looks like. So I had a hammer. I did have a hammer. I just started whacking everything in the engine. I spent 5 minutes just beating the fuck out of the entire engine. I started up the car to work, so I must hit the right goddamn thing.
The starter went. I had that happen to me. I was actually at a cemetery, and with Rach and Chris, and we're visiting a gravesite, and get back to the car. car won't start. I'm like, what the? I'm opening it.
Yeah.
Well, some random guy is like, we got a problem. I'm like, yeah, the car won't start because you got a toolbox. I'm like, yeah. Takes out the hammer, whacks the carburetor. The car starts up. He goes, yeah, I drive to your mechanic because you don't want to have to do this every day. You know, I goes, yeah, it's your starter. Just go. I was like, get into the car and drive now back to Queens because we're in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, oh,
You're in the
I
Bronx
the
with
angel
a
came along, a
stalled
stranger
car
who
that
knew
won't
what to
start.
do. I wouldn't have known what to do.
Yeah. Plus, you're in the Bronx with a car that won't start. I don't know if you're a cop then with your gun on you,
Oh,
but I need a nice place to be.
It was St. Raymond Cemetery, not a dead cemetery, but I was like, I don't want to be stuck here after dark. And
Well, the good news is that you always play the cleric, so you could probably pull a turn on that if some shit went down, so you're good to go.
It could be kind of like that.
Dude, I got another one here, man. Here's another one. Some D20 Auto Editing is the name of the dude who posted this comment. I see a lot of new DMs buy up every book and third-party resource, then they just end up overwhelmed and buried in what has now become work. You don't need every book or even to memorize any of them to play. Yeah, a lot of players, DMs, when you're new, you think, oh, it's a book, it's official, I must buy it, I must know it, I must research. No, you're the DM. You can do whatever the fuck you want in your game. My house rules, I have 10 pages of house rules. There are 10 pages of deletions. This doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. This doesn't work like that. That's for the most part, that's my 5e house rules are, and so
there's one exception to that though. If you're playing organized play.
Yes,
organized play, they'll tell you exactly what rules are official.
I know.
And thou shalt not disobey.
And the weird thing with organized play is I don't know too much about it, but when I started getting into 5e about 4 years ago, maybe, there was a group that I was playing with that had a game in organized play at a local store. So I'm like, oh, what is this? And so I go down there, I take a look, and I'm watching, and I'm seeing this stuff. I'm like, it's so foreign to anything I've ever done is for D&D. It was just strange. I mean, the way they played, there was no role playing. It was all about taking one character to one campaign to the next to pick up the thing. So they got this sword in this game, they could run it in that game, and it was just strange. But the one thing that I do remember was that each DM and official D&D 5e organized play, you would pick a certain amount of books that were canon to your campaign, and other characters could only have certain abilities or things that were from those several books. Which I thought was good because it limits it. It doesn't. It means you don't have to buy 47 books to figure out what the fuck I'm going to play tonight, right? Because the DM picked this weird esoteric book that nobody else uses. You're okay, but at the same time, you never know what you're going to be doing because it's not a long-standing campaign, and because it's a campaign based on whatever the latest greatest module of the year TSR put out, whether Rise of the Dragon Queen or
Wizards of the Coast.
I'm sorry. Did I say TSR?
Yeah, you did. I would have said the same thing.
Yeah, it's still there, man. I still say module instead of adventures or adventure path too. But I mean, you're still as a player, you got to buy a lot of shit. And if you're going to be a mid-maxer, you should buy a lot of shit because you want that feat that's only in that one book that makes you the badass god of the universe, right?
Right.
But that's what you're dealing with, though. It's a weird thing, Yeah, I think David Betzek says core +1. I think that's right. That's what I remember it being. Your core +1 means core book, player's handbook, plus Xanathars or plus Volos or plus whatever the fuck, right? Tasha's or something like that. So yeah. So that's the strange thing about it, is that you don't know what you're going to get until you get into the campaign with the DM. And then each DM has his own house rules, right? So you're going to be dealing with that too. It's not my kind of thing. I want to play a long campaign with steady players who are flexible and willing to deal with my bullshit and my house rules, which is a hard thing to find. You got to admit, it's a hard thing to find, but I mean, there's even more, but look, there's more. Being competitive against the players and wanting to win in either social or combat encounters. That's an old problem that goes back to the earliest days of D&D when you're playing with kids. You want to beat somebody else, right?
How do I win?
How
do I win?
And if you're a DM, you got the power to win. Then you're a dick.
Do you still remember? I remember trying to explain to my parents that Dungeons and Dragons is a game that you don't win.
Yeah.
How can you play a game where you don't win?
Yeah. When is it over? When is it over, Mom? It's never over, Mom. It's never over. What do you mean?
You
clean it up. It's over. It's like Monopoly, right?
Yeah, you play it for the storyline. reaches its conclusion, or the players get bored of the campaign, and then you start another low-level campaign. The players get, it's rinse and repeat, because it's the winning is the enjoyment, right?
Yes.
That's the win. Everybody left the game and had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Then everybody won.
Did you laugh? Did you have fun? Did you forget the bullshit of the day? And then whatever the hell you're going through that day, whatever, that's the key. I mean, that if a DM can keep that in mind, that at least, I don't know, after a certain age, I don't know, whenever that age hits, my 30s maybe it hit, that you just want to escape. It's like the old Cheers theme song. You just want to get away, right? And so you go to Cheers and be with your friends. That's what D&D is to me. Yep. You hang out on a Monday or a Saturday and you're just chilling. You have a couple in you bullshit with your friends, you have fun, you kill shit. What did I do to you in the game we tested out with Rob Connolly a couple of weeks ago, right? Oh. We were at the end, it was just a gameplay test to make sure the software
killed and pillaged.
I killed your guy. He had 1 hit point left. I'm going to kill him.
I'm going to kill him.
It was a test game anyway.
But the best part was the following session. Joe's like, I killed Eric last session. Do I still have his shit? No, like that never happened. That was I was gonna check.
You gotta try though, man. You gotta scrounge. Or what the fuck good is it, right? Yep. I mean, you gotta, what the hell? I knew it wouldn't count, but Rob might slip up. He might, he might be tired. Who knows?
Shadow, the DM, you win when the players come back each week. You're right.
That's a good fucking point. That's a good point. Don't let Joe fool you. He plays to win D&D. Dude, it depends on the campaign. If I'm playing in Tim Short's game, I'm playing to survive D&D. That's all I'm trying to do is survive.
But Tim was a Care Bear GM earlier.
Care Bear my ass. I saw that too. Did you jump on that when I was taking a leak?
Because I didn't. There was just too much chat going by. I had to pass by.
Yeah.
You were already on a roll. I was like, I can't. But I'm not saying that Tim is a killer DM. I'm not saying that.
No.
What I will say is that
he doesn't try to kill you. He lets you kill yourself.
Your PCs may inadvertently get killed by the environment in Tim's games.
The fucking breeze that blows by can do a death save. Yeah, that sums it up.
I don't know what came rolling out of the forest, Joe, but make a save.
Yeah, make a save.
Make a save.
That's the worst thing you could ever hear in Tim's game. Tim Short's game. Make a saving throw versus like, oh no, I'm going down.
Then it's like, oh shit, I saved. All right, so you saved. You only take 2d6 damage. You've only got 2d6 hit points.
I know.
Oh well,
I'm a first level,
well, right?
Do 48 d6 damage death save. If you pass, it's only 24 d6. But Tim, I'm a first level guy. Sorry. He's not that bad, but he's close. It's a good time though, man. Yeah. Tim, the funny thing about Tim is that he always says that he's true. I don't kill my characters. I let them kill themselves. It's true.
Yeah.
We always do. We always do something stupid, But
the thing about up the stupid to look intelligent.
Well, the rock rubs. Yes, rock rubs. He fucked me on rock rubs. I tried to get that trending back in the old Anchor FM days there, but I commented on like 10 people's podcasts about whatever they talked about. And then I said, hey, by the way, what do you think of rock rubs? I tried to get rock rubs trending, but it didn't work. We didn't have the fucking pull. With my new YouTube channel, I'm going to trend rock rubs at some point. I guarantee you.
On rock rubs.
I'm gonna focus on rock rubs and Tim Shorts. That will be a topic of my game, of my show. Yeah, definitely. Oh God!
Your brother's in the room.
What do you say? Where is he?
I've DM'd
three TPKs and that was in 5e. It's true. 5e. If you play it, it's kind of lethal. If you play it with my house rules.
All right. As written, it's a bit Care Bear. I've read the rules. It seems I haven't played it, but I've read the rules.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like this. That's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
It just doesn't fit the type of gaming that I like to game. I like to have that risk versus reward. You know, it's like and like, all right, well, we gotta make a decision. Is it worth the risk for the reward we're gonna get, as opposed to, well, just keep trying, and then maybe if it gets really, really bad, you might get hurt. I don't like that.
It's harder to die in 5e than old school games, without a doubt. But I've managed to kill some motherfuckers. So that's a good thing. And I do try. I've had him in fear of his life in my game several times.
Mike,
but it helps
either on the dick or the players just suck. That's It's your brother.
Oh, what do you
Either,
say?
either I'm a dick or the players just suck. You
That's
know,
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
man.
we've had some sucky ass players, and he's DM'd some of the same players I've DM'd, so I know what he's talking about. It's like there was one situation, dude, where it was 5e game, and it was a group of players. I'm DMing, my brother's playing a character or two. I think he might have had two at the time, and 3 or 4 other players playing characters. And it was in a cloud giant castle, and blah blah blah. And this wizard appears on a roof, and he starts throwing fireballs, and that's all right. Dex save or whatever, reflex save or whatever the fuck, and half damage. Okay, what are you going to do next round? Players, they do what they do, but they all stay clumped together. Okay, next round, wizard sees all players clumped together. Another fireball. Boom! All right. Next round, what are you going to do, players? They all do what they're going to do, but they all stay together. Next round, third round, fireball, because they're all still clumped together. The wizard takes them out, kills them all, TPK, except for one guy. The only one guy who survived was because my brother's barbarian picked him up by the fucking scruff of the neck, jumped in a hole, and landed on it. He was like, you fucking guys, you didn't leave. You didn't move. You didn't spread out. You stayed for 3 fireballs in a row.
But what? But why should we? Shouldn't need to.
Holy shit. Play fucking smart. They all died. And I'm like, I think I tapped out at that point with that entire group. It was, or soon after. I was like, I can't deal with such stupid. But yeah, both of his characters survived because he was the first one to break ranks and say, fuck this, I'm spreading out. He knows me. He knows the game. He knows how to play. Exactly.
Tactical.
It was multiple vampires and multiple wizards. Yes, I agree. I think that was right. Yeah. Shadow and Sun. What is the Care Bear? Care Bear Shadow and Sun was a cartoon in like the 80s or something.
Yes,
it was the wimpiest, most fucking bullshit made for a 6-year-old cartoon ever.
I think they sold stuffed animals.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah. And so
cartoon that advertised the toy line.
Yeah, if you ever hear Care Bear, it means the DM is being merciful and generous and not killing his characters, and it means the players and the characters there's no threat. Yeah, it's threat. Like you can't die.
You go into a dungeon and like right away it's like, here's some hot chocolate and biscuits for everybody. Enjoy your stay here at my castle. And if you see anything dangerous, let us know.
Yeah,
we'll take care of it. You know?
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like the big wimpy fucking game. You know. God. Here's one thing. Goliath Cleric says, forgetting they're playing a game too and neglecting their own enjoyment. It always splits off into other parts of the game where they start treating the whole thing like a job, and then it spirals the death drain. Yeah, a DM has to be having fun. I've stopped several campaigns because I wasn't having fun anymore, and I knew that it would eventually end the campaign and or cause resentment to the players, not the characters, but the players, and I would just be a dick. So I'm like, I'm done. There was one game where I called actually, we finished the game at like midnight, 12:30. I'm driving home, a 45-minute drive, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm fucking done. My brother will remember this. I texted the group halfway home at like 1 a.m. and say, I'm done. I can't play this no more. It was a Pathfinder game, I think. I just can't deal with this fucking system. I'm not having any fun. I'm done. Goodbye. And so that was it. At 1 a.m. Remember that? I thought my brother Mike. I think he probably remembers it. Yeah, it was 3.5 or I don't think we ever played 3.5. We were jumping 3.0 to Pathfinder. But yeah, that was that era. It was like, I'm just not having any fun. I got to end it. And it's good to recognize that as a DM because
you need to recognize it.
You do because it will always come out. If you're pissed off and annoyed and not putting the proper work in, and you're resenting the game system, the players, the module, whatever the fuck it is that you're resenting, it will always come out as a DM in some passive aggressive way, and you're going to get a reputation as a douchebag. You know?
Your brother says it was pre-Pathfinder.
Here pre? Okay. Okay.
Matt Jackson. Ivy says you're a wuss.
Because you
are used to playing 5e.
I used to play. Ivy says that? Yeah.
Your brother said it was 3.5.
Ivy, the happy whisk. Tim Short's wife, Ivy, the happy whisk, says I'm a wuss because you play I used to play 5e. I don't think Ivy knows what 5e is. Maybe you're from Tim, but yeah. So Tim, I don't know if you're listening, Tim. I haven't seen any comments yet, but Tim, get better soon. I know he's taking some time and getting shit together, but I hope he get better soon to get on here. And he's going to start running his game next week again, man. So that's nice. That's good news. Yeah, we're going to get back into his game. All right. So, yeah, that should be fun. That should be fun. So, Snickle the Gnome will most likely run in fear of his life and maybe die. That's Tim's game. That's how Tim rolls. God. Oh, here's a good one. Immortal Monk says, punishing player enthusiasm and creativity. Not saying everything has to work, but getting mad that players come up with a creative workaround or because they want to develop a character beyond one dimension is a good way to kill the game. So that sounds like it's actually happened to him. So, yeah. So a DM has to be able to roll with any weird-ass creative shit a player comes up with because their players will always... You can prepare for 9 months like a motherfucker, ready for this game, thinking you got every contingency under the sun. And I guarantee you, within 5 minutes, your players are going to come up with shit you never thought about. Like, oh, fuck, what do I do now? And so an instinct that a lot of DMs have, especially if they have not a railroad sensibility, but more of a sensibility of here's my story that I want to tell tonight. All right. They're going to try to railroad or direct these characters into something else or get pissed off or curtail their creativity, which is not a good thing. Creativity on both parts is really what the game is all about. The DM has to be able to roll with stuff, role play the characters that these PCs are interacting with, the NPCs that they're interacting with. They need to be able to have a good grasp on their setting, their system, in order to be able to do all that and go wherever the PCs want to go. You need to have good improv skills. You need to have a good sense of on-the-spot creativity for a DM for DMing. That's really what it comes down to. I gotta say, man, post-COVID, I've been having so much fun in Tim and Rob's game where before this I was a min-maxer big time and I'm playing their game and I'm like creativity on the spot, role-playing, improv, the whole bit. Post-COVID, I'm going to take some sort of an improv class, I think, just for the fun of it, because it's been so much fun playing D&D with these guys and helping develop that skill that I've never really developed before. And I like it. I really do. So I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to play, D&D basically in an improv class as much as I can. Help develop my improv skills. Once again, we come back into normal land again. But yeah.
My goat cat. Oh, you had too much attention? You're the one that came onto my chair, asking for attention. And then she's like...
Matt says, I'm only playing in Tim's game, because he is playing in this game finally with us again, to kill Snickle the Gnome. Snickle the Gnome will backstab you while you sleep, motherfucker. My brother says, like when I decided to make a deal with an archdevil last week and had to make up shit almost on the fly. Yeah, that fucked my shit up. We're playing tomorrow again, actually, to do part 2 of that. I did not expect that shit. So, yeah, but you got to roll with it, man. And it's okay to take a break and then figure shit out. I was running a game in New Haven, Connecticut for a while with about 5 guys. They were that infamous redhead with the hot ass. Anyway, we started, we the only place we could find to play at 10 or 11 in the morning that had seats that was guaranteed we'd be able to get there was this fucking burrito place. Like, what's that called? I forget about Joe's Burritos or what the fuck it's called, right? So we're going to this burrito place in downtown New Haven. Nobody's there. It's 11 a.m. We start playing until 2. And we have a good spot. And sometimes these fucking players, I was running in Lamentations of the Flame Princess campaign, and they were good and they were weird. And I was sucky. And they throw some curveballs at me. And I'm like, what the fuck do I do now? Inevitably, my go-to, because it was Moe's Burrito, not Joe's, Moe's Burrito place, right? Inevitably, my go-to was I would go to the burrito place to the counter because they'd serve margaritas. I'd order a double, right? I'd go to the bathroom, sitting there, either take a leak, take a shit, or just think. I'd come out, I'd grab the margarita, I'd chug a good portion of it, I'd sit down at the table, and I'd be like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I literally took 5 minutes to take a shit, leak, and grab a margarita, came back 5 minutes later and just ran with it. I'm like, all right, that's what I'm going to do. Because, yeah, you're going to get thrown curveballs. The worst instinct when it comes to a curveball is to railroad control, be
railroad.
fearful that, oh my God, they're not going to do what I planned for. I'm going to suck. Therefore, I must railroad them back to what I planned for some way.
No,
Don't do that. Just
that's
fucking roll
horrible.
with it.
I really enjoy it when my players surprise me, and I got to improv because I like to think that I'm pretty good at the improv. My only issue is I'm not good at keeping records of my improv. So my secret has always been, hey folks, if you want a 10% experience points bonus, get me a write up of last session.
Yeah.
That was my cheat because I would improv a lot of stuff. You learned that as a cop to always have an answer, so I could have an answer, and I thought I was pretty good at it. But my best improv was one time when I was playing every other Thursday at the game shop out in Long Island, and show up, and our DM's like, "Listen, I'm done." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm done. It's on you." I'm like, "Shit, it's on me." I'm like, yeah, he goes, "Yeah, we all got copies of Swords of Which We Light. Yeah, run us some Swords of Which We Light." I'm like, no, that's in my bag. I used to always carry with me Inkwell Designs like encounter cards.
Yeah.
So I shuffled the deck real quick, and I pulled 2 cards because you need inspiration, but you also need a little freedom. And I looked at the 2 cards, spent about 10 seconds on each one. One had a little like dungeon map, like 6 rooms. Saw a little stuff on it. I said, "All right, everybody go out and smoke. I need 5 minutes."
Yeah. Sometimes that's the perfect thing.
I go 5 minutes, and I looked at the card, and it's like, all right, it's got a statue, it's got a little cave, and I said, I don't need to know exactly what's going on this card. I need this map. I know there's a statue. Where am I going to take this?
Yeah.
And in 5 minutes, I had an adventure that lasted 3 hours.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you got to do. Honestly, I mean, from what I've discovered. I've been playing since 1984, right? It's almost 40 years, 30s, whatever the fuck years.
Right.
And I sucked. Did all the things wrong. I did everything bad. I was a douchebag DM, the douchebag player, the rules lawyer, everything negative that you could be in D&D. I've been that role, right? So now I'm almost 40 years later, and I'm finally figuring out what makes a fun D&D game. So here, for what it's worth, here's my advice, right? As a DM, prepare as much as you fucking can, and then because you're not going to prepare to railroad them. You're not going to prepare a campaign arc. You're not going to prepare a storyline. You're preparing NPC personalities. You're preparing goals and motivations of NPCs, parties, other adventurers, ruling factions. You're basically getting into a method acting mindset for a dozen or more different things that could come up during the session. You're understanding the goals, the motivations, why they exist, what makes them tick, where they want to go, what they want to do, and then you throw the players into that soup. And to the extent that you can prepare all the other stuff, no matter what the players want to do, because you know that Otto the bartender is this type of thing and likes these sorts of things and does this and has this in his past or whatever the fuck it is, you can roll with that shit, right? And no matter what the players throw at you, all you're going to do is say, well, what would Otto do? Otto the bartender in this situation would do XYZ because I know Otto pretty fucking well because I've been thinking about Otto, right? And so out comes an answer that is completely in character with Otto. And as long as you know the background, the world, the history, the people, the NPCs, the situation, to the extent you could prepare, you are good. You're golden. You have that shit. You don't need to worry about preparing a railroaded adventure. You just need to prepare the elements of the world, the setting, the campaign. You're good.
But that's why I'd rather purchase that setting or that section done for me, and then I learn it. For me to create that, it's going to be too much work.
Yeah,
I would be the person. I'm going to tell you right now because I've done this. My NPCs usually had a sentence at most to describe them.
Yeah,
that was all. Because if I couldn't figure out how they're going to interact with my players with more, if I need more than one sentence, they weren't just a random NPC or they weren't just a shopkeeper. That was the Lord. That was the high priest. And that's the only point where you get that deep. Your mind works that way.
Yeah.
For you, that is your method, but your method is not going to work for the schlep that's going to like, I've got 2 hours to prepare for tonight's
Yeah,
campaign.
yeah, it's true.
How am I going to get it ready? So
Yeah. As long as you're ready to improv something, as long as you're prepared to not railroad, and don't be scared. I think that's the key. Don't be scared. Don't
yeah,
be scared to just go riff on whatever. It's like jazz. This is not classical music. This is jazz. D&D is fucking jazz. And so you're just riffing off whatever the fucking other guys in the band are doing with you. You're playing off of that shit, and you're just taking it in your own direction. The other guys in the band are your players, and you are whoever the fuck, Miles Davis, and you're just going with that shit, man. Don't be scared because you got that shit. As long as you have a background, you got some brains, you got some experience, you got some knowledge, and you thought about the campaign, go with it. And even if you have to make it up on the spot, write that shit down somewhere. Because next time you play, you'll remember that Otto the bartender had these various personality traits and reacted in this way to these things. And then you got Otto becomes a real person. Otto becomes a serious thing. Otto becomes interesting. And then when Otto's interesting, the players go back to Otto because they know Otto got the scoop on some shit or another, right?
right.
Otto becomes the main character. Like, and don't, here's the other thing. So somebody rolled here, random tables, Shadow and Sun. That's the flip side of it, right? Preparation is one thing, but sometimes you just got to fucking roll the dice. A couple of weeks ago, I was playing my brother, and he encountered a person who was in my head lawful evil, and he kind of knew that they were lawful evil, right? And so I said, well, they maybe in my head, while we're playing this game, I said, well, if they're lawful evil, they might be a member of this organization because that fits their characteristics and what they've been doing this entire time.
Right.
So I said, let me roll a dice to see if they are. I had no idea. In my head, I had no fucking idea this serious, important NPC was a member of this evil organization that was meant to bring Cthulhu back into the world. So I said, let me just roll. I rolled natural 20. I'm like, okay, she is definitely a member of this organization. That one wrinkle, right, threw the entire session into chaos. But because I said I'm going to roll to see if, that was canon in my head. So it was. And he found out. And therefore, it changed the next 2 sessions of our game, right? Because I rolled that. Remember, they said, why the hell did you do that? I said, because that's how you do it. That, to me, is a good characteristic of a good DM. If they could just decide midstream, I'm going to roll yes or no. I'm going to roll black or white. I'm going to roll evil or good. I'm going to roll to see if. Boom, you roll. You roll the dice and you roll with the fucking consequences. And if you could riff off of your own fucking dice rolls, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Just have enough in your head, have enough knowledge to fucking be able to do that. That's it. Enough thought, enough knowledge, enough focus, enough concentration. Just be ready to fucking do it. You know? That's the key, I think. Being a good DM.
Yeah. I think you have called it correct.
Yeah. I think we're at 10 o'clock. Holy fucking shit.
I think we're hitting the witching hour.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I know. Dude, I've been smoking this thing called strawberry cough. First of all, I bought this like 2 fucking weeks ago. It's a fucking I don't know what the kids today call it. I think I call it a vape pen. It has some kind of fucking weird waxy solution in there. Right. So I've been trying to finish off my last one because I got the new one 2 weeks ago. I couldn't fucking get to it because I'm not going to throw out the old one before it's burnt out. Right. So I got to fucking finish it. I've been sucking on this thing like a fucking, I don't even want to say, but anyway, I've been trying to finish this shit like crazy. Okay. Right. So I finally finished it before the stream. So the strawberry cough is a good concoction from various places you can find. So yeah, enjoy, boys and girls. I think that
go figure. Now remember, Joe the Lawyer is going to be the new YouTube channel.
Yes.
The channel is no videos yet. The channel is live, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so it is there. If you go to youtube.com/JoetheLawyer, Joe the Lawyer, all one word, it's there, right? And I have the name is going to be Joe the Lawyer's Analog Man Cave. Man Cave, all one word. I have Analog Man Cave Twitter. I have Analog Man Cave YouTube. And if you want to email me, it's analogmancave@gmail. And I have analogmancave.com. I have that site as well. That domain is mine. That is the future.
That is the future.
Someday I'm going to be doing podcasts. It's going to be on mostly D&D. I would say maybe 60% D&D. The rest of it, if I want to talk about the MCU and the latest bullshit movie or series they have out, Star Wars, Star Trek, fucking Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser to Midcamia and Pug and Culgan, whatever the hell comes to mind, it will be geek oriented and nerd and nerd friendly. So
I have the link up on the screen. I put it into the chat.
oh, cool, man.
Now, just so we all know, we're starting with 6 subscribers.
Yes.
So
which I can only see 4 of them for some reason. I don't know how to see your work.
I don't know how
I'm trying to figure this shit out, man. So
subscribe.
Bear with me.
When Joe has a new video out.
Yes.
Listen, I'll announce when Joe has stuff out. I'll link it. Also, when Joe starts having guests, I'm sure I'll get a chance to guest.
Yes, absolutely. I just got a message. David Betsack, subscribe to your channel. I didn't know that was a thing. Thank you for that message. Thank you for subscribing, David. I have recorded a preliminary 3 or 4 minute video or 3 or 4 minute audio, which I will try to figure out how the hell to add images and pictures to this. If you want an idea what it's going to be about, if you've ever followed Captain Courageous, which is a great channel, Corajus or something, CaptCorajus, great retro reviews mostly channel, but he's interviewed some people like Delaney and whatnot. That's what I'm shooting for. RPG Pundit has some good stuff where he never shows his face and he just talks about whatever the fuck. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to add graphics and special effects or video clips. Listen, my ideal of what I want to try to strive to be like is the Critical Drinker. If you've ever seen the Critical Drinker, he writes a scripted show. He has funny comments. He adds in pictures or images that are, sort of effective and get his point across. That is the ideal. But Critical Drinker with Captain Courageous and a little bit of Dungeon Craft, and that's kind of what I'm shooting for here. Now, Eric, what I'm trying to do is, do you remember in the old school blog days, we'd all comment on each other's blogs, and then I would start a blog post of maybe my own or your own on the topic because you've given it some thought. You've commented on 4 other people's blogs, and you said, you know what? I've got enough thoughts out there in various places. I'm going to put my own blog post sort of summarizing all my thoughts on the topic. And you put out your own blog post, right? That is what I'm going to try to strive for. I follow a lot of guys on YouTube who have 1,000 or less subscribers, right? And they're interesting. They talk about interesting shit. I'm going to sort of try to start responding or commenting on John, whatever the hell's blog post or YouTube post, is whatever he puts up there, and try to bring a network of people in. We got
like a YouTube network of YouTubers.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you look at Geeks and Gamers, right? On their Friday night tights or Nerdrotics Friday night tights. They got 10 or a dozen guys in there that rotate in and out. And they all started around the same time. They grew their channels together and they're all buds. Why can't we do that with D&D? Why can't we get a group, right?
Oh, why not? I'm happy.
Yeah. We got me, we got you, we got a few other guys who are doing it out there who are interesting and have good points. And I'm not trying to make it a cultural fight or a political fight. I don't give a fuck to fight about petty bullshit. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to fight about who's the better captain, Kirk or Picard. But I'm not going to fight about that's important shit. I'm not going to fight about the non-important shit, right? So that's what I'm shooting for here. So that's what I'm looking for. And, bring a sort of a network. Bring the old blogger back but make it a YouTube version of blogger, right? Where we all talk and we support each other. You've seen Ethan Van Sciver and the Comics Gate guys. They got like a dozen guys. They go on a Monday night show usually. Something about, I'm not endorsing or detracting from whatever the fuck they're saying. I'm just saying that's an example. Same thing as Nerdrotic and their Friday night tights. All I'm saying is that it would be really cool to have a network of YouTubers all starting out around the same time, the same number of subscribers, and we all grow together. We have our own little network, and like we had in the old blog days, it'd be kind of fun. I think we get the Greyhawk Grognard in there.
Joe would be great.
It'd be fantastic.
Glenn, Edding Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn, absolutely. It'd be a fun time.
You can add Bad Mike, but Bad Mike doesn't do solos. He
doesn't do solos. He does just as the Wednesday thing with you, right? That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty good with that too. Yeah. I mean, and talk about Bad Mike, folks. North Texas RPG Con. You can find them on Facebook. You can find it. They got a Discord server.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. I do a weekly hangout on my Discord server, Tenkar's Tavern Discord server, on Thursday nights, 9 p.m. We're going to be doing at least a once a month hangout, similar type of thing. Voice chat, geek talk, con talk. Mike and I will host it, and we'll announce it on my channel and on the blog. This is a great way to build up some community for North Texas RPG Con. So
Yeah,
it's in the
absolutely.
works.
Absolutely. And North Texas, what, June? It's a June
North
convention.
Texas was June. It was the first weekend of June.
I don't know that I'll make it. I know I won't make it this year, but I'm hoping to get the ShireCon. I'm hoping COVID is normal. I'm hoping ShireCon is on and still there. And I want to do that this year, September. I mean, fucking Christ, it better fucking be 2.5 years after COVID. But yeah, Matt Jackson, if you're listening, you had better get the ShireCon. Plan on that shit, dude. Fucking September. And Tim Shorts, too. You better be there with Ivy. And we want to meet. We want to hang out. We play all these guys online, but we see videos, but we never actually hung out in person, man. I want to get with everybody.
Yeah,
I'm tired of this shit.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Folks, we're wrapping. So as always, listen, I've had the accusations that I don't use my soapbox in a proper way when it comes to the world of COVID. Again, I don't care about your personal decisions. I do care that you make those decisions after conferring, if you haven't conferred yet, with a medical professional that understands and knows your medical history. All right, it's not a one size fits all, but COVID is real. I'm still suffering from some long term effects of it. So, talk to a medical professional if you haven't been vaccinated yet, and get their opinion as to what you should do.
Yep.
Really, it's that simple. Other than that, live stream tomorrow, 8 p.m. with Rach and I, Gamers Health. We got some new exercise stuff to talk about.
Cool.
Total gym in the house.
Dude, have you done the fucking purple, pink, whatever the fuck hair in Central Park yet?
No, not in Central Park.
Wherever
Park.
you're gonna go, Forest Park.
I can't do it while I'm wearing winter gear. I need a warm day. So I can go out there and
just let me know when. I so want to be there.
Maybe we might have to do it on a weekend.
Yeah, do it on the weekend in the spring when it's warmer.
Film it all on his iPhone, and you'll oh my god, we'll put it up in the chat. Either way, we're going to film some of it, even
absolutely.
But I don't want it to be. I don't want to be in my winter parka with a hat on, and
Yeah, it defeats the purpose of the purple hair.
Other than that, folks, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll the dice. Joe and I are back in 2 weeks. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. on this channel. Bad Mike and Skeeter Green will be doing session 0 character creation.
Nice.
Maybe a mock combat if I can figure that shit out.
All right.
Or Giant Lands. You
All
don't want to miss it.
All right.
I spent $140, so you don't have to.
Is that bad, huh? Or that good or that bad?
Joe, have you seen the box?
No.
Okay. So here, I'm going to show you the box.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the box. Kind of. There we go. There we go.
All right.
There's the box. Okay. Yeah. Now, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
This is the RuneQuest box.
Yeah.
Okay. The RuneQuest box, which weighs about at least twice as much,
is
$30, and it comes with PDFs.
Oh, there you go.
All right. So with shipping, it's like $40. All right. This is $142 shipped.
Damn.
I could get 3.5 RuneQuest boxes, maybe close to 4. I can outfit my gaming group with this stuff. I could gift them all for the price of the Giant Lands box. I am reading through the Giant Lands rules this weekend. I will probably have at least installment 1 of the review of the rules. I'm trying to not dismiss it based upon the dollar value, which is outrageous,
excessive.
But, again, that's why I spent the money. Your affiliate monies when you shop at RPG Now or drive through or Humble Bundle using the affiliate links at the tavern, you pay for me to buy shit like that, so it doesn't really impact anybody's pocket.
All right.
Yeah, that's how it works. All right, folks. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Take it
We'll be
easy. Be safe this weekend if you're in this
If you're in
the
Snowmageddon.
path of Snowmageddon. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear the snow hitting my windows, so I
Do
got.
you really? I gotta
Yeah,
take a look and check. That's
and I might
interesting.
have to go out and shovel.
My aunt in I'm from Jersey originally. My family is down there, so most of my extended family. And a few hours ago, she was getting snow. So yeah, it's popping, man. It's popping.
All right, folks.
Later,
Catch you
guys.
later.